How do you like the new intro? Short and sweet and to the point, huh? No, actually, I had a problem on my side. It decided to upload my files to the cloud, so when I went to click it, it wasn't there, but whatever. How's it going, everybody? It's pretty good here. It is Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. Just had like a random person stop at my house and ask to buy my car for cash. Like, what the fuck? So I was running a little late, rushing around to get everything started. My wife's like, how much is the car worth? How much is the car worth? How much should we tell him? I'm like, dude, I'll just deal with this later. I can't deal with this right now. So felt a little under the gun here. Let me know if I sound okay out there too. I keep messing around with the audio trying to get it right, but it kind of does strange things when we go to the live stream. So I did increase the volume of the Discord so they're closer to mine, and I decreased mine a little bit. Hopefully that sounds okay. Yeah, page 42. It could be a scam for sure, but this guy is a member of the community. He owns like a nightclub downtown. But why is he stopping at my house asking to buy a 2013 Escape? A sight unseen, hasn't even been in the car, hasn't driven it. I told him there's something wrong with the car, and he's asking to pay me cash for this Escape. He's driving around in a Hummer. Chaldean guy. Not that that matters, but it does mean something in Detroit. So I don't know what the fuck, man. What is it a scam? I don't know. I'm gonna see how much it is. I'm gonna throw him a number though. Let's see what happens. Because I actually do want to get rid of the car, which is weird. Well, who just stops and asks about a 2030? There's nothing special about this car. Anyway, my mind's kind of blown. So let me say hello to the people in chat. We've got Expose Antarctica. He says he'll buy it. Well, I'll let you know what number I come up with, and then you and him can have a bidding war over my vanilla garden variety SUV. I mean, my awesome Escape. Matrix Media, what's up, man? SE Montreal, a Snowman, Hobbs, Ian Adams, Rob the Truth. Almost Unbelievable. Check out the Almost Unbelievable channel if you haven't checked it out. There's a couple podcasts over there. It's pretty cool stuff. YouTube, Skeptical Inquisitor, Bill G, Hell and Degenerates, who is our latest member. Thank you, Hell N. Good to see you guys. Gently's channel just dropped in. He'll buy it for $1. I don't know, man. This guy seems like he's got deep pockets. I don't think you're going to win that bidding war. Let me do my stuff here. If you want to support the show, you can do it through, what is this thing called again? Streamlabs. Streamlabs tip jar. It's really easy. Go on there. It's attached to your PayPal. Drop me a couple bucks or whatever. And that'll be at the top of the chat. Do check out Ranty's new channel, Almost Unbelievable. That is pretty cool. So please subscribe to that. Trying to build some subscribers, and go check out his what is it called, podcast too, which I believe is on Spotify. Probably not doing it at the justice it should be doing, but he can plug it when he comes on later. I've got some cool stuff from Pete the Great. Another observation, you saw a sneak peek of it in the, what is that thing called? Why are these words, I can't remember words all of a sudden. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. The thing that shows what the show is. You know what I'm talking about? The cover for the show on YouTube. Anyway, you saw a sneak peek of it there next to a sunset. We're going to try to discuss what sunsets are. So that'll be cool. Flat Earth Data says, Ranty, toy with the globe. Toy with the globe. It's not a bad play on words. I like that. Okay. Yeah, well, I think I'm going with just Brandon's, unless something, you know, really strikes me better at this point. I'm just going to keep it simple, guys. Why not? Keep it simple. People know who we are. I was trying to get Flat Earth in there somewhere, or FE, or something like that, so people would know what it was about. But I did wonder if that helps us keep off the radar, because Ranty was Ranty Flat Earth. Now he's just Ranty. Maybe that keeps some of the heat off of us. I don't know. It is what it is. That's what we're going to do. Shout out SE Montreal. Thumbnail, Jose JG for the win. Thanks, dude. Thumbnail. All right. So let's get to it. We will pop in. I see Critical Think is in there and Ruhif. So we might have some early fireworks. Let's go to Discord. What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yo. Yep.
Hey, I saw a bunch of people lit up. I thought that you guys were going to be deep in conversation when I came in. I'm always surprised. How is everybody tonight?
I'm sitting in the waiting bay for my Macca's. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
No, okay. Hey, Ruhif, we've got Critical Think. What's up, Critical?
G'day.
Hey, TT.
How you going?
And we've got Travis.
Hello. What up?
Give us a beep. There we go.
There's Ruhif. F Evangelist, what's up, man?
Morning all, how are we?
Good. Jimbo.
Hello, eh?
Paige.
G'day.
Hello. Aaron Armstrong, whose name is still Shrimpy. That is you, though, right, Aaron?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Sounds like it's a bit of an Aussie invasion.
No kidding.
Did I get skipped? I was on Devin. Sorry.
You were on Deafin, yes. But hi, what's up,
I was
Rob?
listening on YouTube and I got missed. Sorry.
Excuses. All right.
I'm here now.
How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks.
Good. So we're going to talk about sunsets, and we're going to look at some firsthand observations from Pete the Great tonight. But I see that we've got some people who don't stop in that much, which is Critical Think and Ruhif, and I'm wondering if either of them stopped in for a reason or purpose, wanted to bring something up. Give you a chance, since you're outnumbered, to kind of have the first slot on the agenda.
I'll let Critical Think have a go if he wants. I'm driving.
Well, I've got some stuff I wanted to bring up if we got time, because I wanted to correct some misunderstandings and misconceptions that came from the last time I was on the show.
Okay, fair enough. Why don't we start off with that?
Yeah,
then?
that's awesome. We love to hear that kind of talk.
Yeah, let's see what you got, Critical.
Okay, I need some help here about. Am I able to share my screen? I don't know how to do it on this, so
yeah, you can.
Somebody can help me.
You can share, or you can post it in general, and I can share. There's that little screen button right below where it says voice connected. If you click that, and then you can either share an application, or you can tab over to the screens and share your whole screen.
All right. Share the whole screen. Sorry. Yeah, screens. Okay, I got that. And then do I push go live button?
Yep. Push go live and we'll be all set, and then I'll share it for the audience through here. All right, we see it. Perspective and level.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the calibration on my auto level. And there was some talk that because I adjusted my auto level, that I adjusted it so that it would point higher as a means of deception or something. And that's pretty ridiculous. And it shows that the person that said that doesn't understand how the auto level works. So for starters, let me see if I can get my picture back again. So in that picture there, the auto level the crosshairs cannot be adjusted to a very large range. Now, if you have a look at that picture, where the horizon is that you can see, now that's the visible, then you can see that there's a circle. The middle of the circle is where the crosshairs is. Now, if I were to adjust my crosshairs so that they would be off by that much, first of all, I don't think it's possible. I haven't tried. But second of all, the crosshairs would not appear in the middle of the circle anymore. They'd be offset by a long distance, and you'd be able to tell that by the picture there. So,
Can I just say something real quick? Really quickly. Someone that's basically saying you're being dishonest by adjusting the crosshairs is also acknowledging that what you're showing is evidence of a globe.
No, it
That's all.
isn't.
right.
Its evidence is move the crosshairs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So you're
though. Let him
accusing him of
finish.
lying, right?
Let him finish.
You're accusing him of lying.
Show us
Let
the
him
image
finish.
so I can measure from the bottom of the image to the crosshair and from the top of the image to the crosshair. Show us the full image.
Well, let's let him finish his presentation. So, okay, so
Can you
go ahead.
can you see that it's a circle? Obviously, that's in the middle of a circle. So anyway, so in this case, I've taken my stadia marks and it's 653 pixels between those two, which is 0.57 degrees. And that's a horizon drop of 125 pixels. Well, the blue line is where the inferior mirage is, and I'm calling that the place where the horizon is. So the drop is approximately 0.11 degrees. Now, and that represents 71 meters, but that's in relation to where the crosshairs point. I have something else that before I took that particular picture, I set up an experiment where I've got the water level and the auto level at approximately the same height. And so you can see that my water level, and we all agree that water level establishes a level. My water level is pointing over the top of that mountain. Now, if my crosshairs were wrong on my auto level, if I had adjusted them to be devious or dishonest, then they wouldn't point in the same place as a water level. So I've got this video.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I don't put much stock in these water level things like what you're doing right here, because you can skew this by changing where your center of frame is at in relation to those water level. I just don't think it's a very good way of saying, yes, this is pointing in the same direction. It's all level.
All right, you need to
100%
watch.
globe proof. Don't deny
You
my
need
globe
to
proof.
watch the video. You can see the water level points to where it points, regardless of whether it's in the middle.
Yeah, it's not really what a water level is for, though. Critical thing.
2 points form a line. We went through this before.
Yeah,
therefore,
you're adding in perspective. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not in love with it.
perspective.
Go ahead. If you think it means something, continue. So what is your point with all this?
The water level and the auto level are firing at the same spot in the sky. So they both show level. There's nothing, that's just a clear demonstration of it. I don't know how you can deny that.
Okay, let's say so what? Okay, it's level.
Because the water level doesn't fire or point.
It really doesn't. She's right, but so what? It's okay. Your water level and your tool are level. You're looking out level. We already discussed last time that all this is nullified by the atmospheric conditions at this 26 or 36 kilometer range that you're looking at least.
Okay, that's what you say, but you've not provided.
No, hang on. What is the accuracy range on that you are using?
Hang on, I have to answer this first.
Listen, man.
I have to answer I have to answer
I thought you came here to correct misconceptions.
Excuse me, can I answer the first question, please? Can I answer that question, please?
You came in.
Can I answer one thing first, please? Can you stop talking over me?
Go ahead, answer.
Now,
I wasn't talking.
Right. So about the refraction, have you got? People have measured refraction. We know what refraction is. We know that when we fire at the sun, which was here, that the sun is actually in a position lower than that. So what you see there, because of refraction, is a higher sun. So therefore, the sun is below that. Therefore, how do I sight across the sun? The real position of the sun is lower. So there's that. We know what refraction is doing. Now, what was the next question?
You don't know
So
where you
you're
don't
not-
know
you
what
don't have a
refraction
straight
is
What is the
coming. You
accuracy
don't know what
range
refraction is
of the auto
doing. You are
level?
just saying you are stating as a fact that you know what refraction is doing. You don't. And you're measuring
we
against
do.
a
There's
horizon
been-
that's not the horizon.
Sure.
You know, you're just
I do.
How is he doing geometry with refracted lines? They're not straight lines anymore.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can't
Listen,
do
hold
that.
on.
Your
Listen,
elevation,
hold on. I
You
know
guys
that
all
we
got
are.
away
Hold
from
on. Hold
the
on. I know
accuracy
that we
range,
are all
Travis.
trigger. I know. Listen, I want this to go as smoothly as possible, and we're all gonna jump on critical. I understand that, but we can't do that. Okay, let's try to let him. Let's try to have Brandon ask the questions, and then Jeremy, your
That's a good
question is important. I know that it is. Okay, so I just don't want to listen to everybody talking over each other.
well, I appreciate that. Yeah. We will get a
Sorry.
chance for everybody to get their input. That's all right. So anyway, well, why don't you respond to the accuracy critical thing?
So can I have the question again about the accuracy?
What is the accuracy of the tool you're using?
It's plus or minus 3 millimeters over a distance of 60 meters. Can anybody tell me what that angular accuracy is?
We'll just give it to us so we don't have to do math on the spot.
Right. It's 0.03 degrees. That is the accuracy. Now I'm measuring here 0.11 degrees. So you can see my measurement is well within the accuracy of the instrument.
0.11 degrees of horizon drop.
Yes.
What was the length of how far you're looking out? You said 60 meters for that. So how far is that in your picture?
It's 37 kilometers or more.
Okay,
But
there you go.
no. What do you mean? There you
But
go.
you don't
You
even
need to
know where the
qualify that. What do you
horizon
mean?
is, critical think. That's the thing. You don't even
you
know
know
where
what
the
the
horizon
horizon
is.
Excuse me. Sorry. What was the question?
You
I didn't hear
can't
it again.
measure to a horizon that you can't see.
I can see the island, right? I'm not saying that the horizon is at a particular place. I can see where the island is. The
But then
island
how are
in
you
that.
measuring a drop to a horizon? Like, come on,
Because-
dude, this is
Stadium
just
because-
Because you're full of double
Alright.
speak.
Let him answer
No,
the
no.
question. Let him answer the question of how are you measuring to a horizon that you don't see?
The horizon is a visual thing. It's where the
Apparent is the word.
sky meets
Apparent.
the water, right?
We're all
it's
well
a
aware of
visual
what
They
the
don't actually
horizon
meet,
is.
do
Yes, that is the apparent
Apparent.
horizon, but you're acting like this is a geometric horizon. You're guessing at where it is, I assume, if you're measuring to the blue line.
There is a geometric horizon somewhere there, right? At the distance of the geometric horizon from the apparent horizon is fairly well known because of the effect of refraction.
Fairly
There
well
ain't
known
no
by
geometric
who.
horizon.
So,
What
okay,
kind of
but at the
refraction?
end of the day, this is just a guess, right? You're guessing at where
How
the
much
horizon is.
refraction? How much
Yeah.
refraction?
I've made a measurement. This measurement is no guess. I've made a measurement of the horizon, but this is not the important part
Can't
of
see
this.
a
You
horizon
keep
in
saying
that
that.
picture.
There's
This is
no
not-
horizon.
I've made a measurement.
Okay, so
for a
you
unicorn.
cannot see the sun and you cannot see the water. So therefore you say what? There's no horizon there? Are you kidding me?
There's
don't
no
know where it
geometric
is.
horizon as you're using it. No.
It's
Yeah,
apparent.
exactly.
So then how does the sun shine through the earth?
Who
It
said
doesn't.
it's shining
It
through
doesn't.
the earth?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
The fact that a
Well, yes,
grown,
it does, because
okay,
you
I'm
just said-
sorry.
Hold on. Go
You
ahead,
just
fact
said
Travis.
that
Go ahead, Travis.
it's not going to be kind. The fact that a grown man just let those words fall out of your mouth shows that you have no place in this discussion. The sun does not shine through the earth.
Yeah, that was pretty
Exactly.
hot.
That's why I asked the question, because you people are saying that it does. You
No,
were
we're
saying
not.
it
No,
shines
we're
through
not.
the earth.
Not.
No, we're not.
No,
Yes,
they're
you are.
not.
The earth is
they're not.
below that center line. Can't you see the earth is
It's
below
shining
that?
through the trees there. You've got no horizon
It's
there.
apparent. It's an apparent position.
My God,
it's distorted.
How does the sun appear below eye level? Nobody has answered that.
You can do that just in a long hallway.
Well, let me
we
answer
do
like
that.
this. Let me answer like
parallel
this.
to each other.
Let me answer like this.
Bev?
Yes, exactly.
Go
So
ahead,
you're standing on a flat plane, right? Let's just assume that you're standing on a flat plane. You have an elevated tool and you're looking off far in the distance over that flat plane. So you are looking in a parallel direction to what you're measuring against. Why do you think that there wouldn't ever be any drop? You're under the assumption that on a flat plane, the horizon would always rise up to eye level, aren't you?
Yes,
That's
yes,
not an
it would.
assumption. And that will bring me to the next.
It's not an
Things
assumption.
about
Okay,
it.
well, I'd like to hear what backs that up.
So
Yep.
let's just
Geometry.
say I have a flat plane like this, and you're pointing a level device. I have two stakes in the ground. They're both equal height. Will my level device intersect the top of those stakes? Is that yes or no?
How far a distance is that?
Doesn't matter what the distance is.
Yeah, I do think it matters what the distance is.
Why? Why does it matter?
So you think at 100 miles, 50 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles, 100 feet? What do you think?
Anything. It's flat. Why would your level line intersect the top, not intersect the top of those poles?
Okay,
Well,
listen,
you're telling me
real
the
quick,
level
okay.
line at the top
Perspective.
level line would intersect the bottom level line. That's what your whole analysis is based on a flat plane, that those two are going to converge at that green line. You're telling me
That's
that.
an effective perspective. Are
So
you
what happens
are
to
you
the
not
purple
aware
line?
of how
What, hold on. Let me get my question out. So what happens? That's what you said, right? On a flat plane, that would always rise up to eye level. So let me ask you this then. If that rises up to eye level, what happens with the purple line in relation to your green sight line? If the orange line's all the way up to eye level?
Okay, so you know, of course, that with perspective, the rising to eye level is just an appearance. It doesn't really rise. There is always that distance, same distance. As in this diagram, the reason why it appears to rise to eye level is because of the angle to the object. Now, have a look at these
That's
three
Euclidean
stakes in the
physical
ground.
space geometry. Yes, I agree. This is a
So it
Euclidean
only appears.
orthographic diagram that you're showing here.
It's a diagram and it is orthographic, but if you listen to how this works, this tells you how perspective works. So when I'm looking at the first stake on the left, I'm looking down. When I'm looking at the second stake in the middle, I'm looking up a bit. And when I'm looking at the last stake, I'm looking up a bit more. And that's what causes it appear to be higher, because you got to look up to see the ones further away. And that is how perspective works.
This is an
Brandon,
incorrect
the thing you
diagram,
did
and
this
I'll tell
weekend-
you why. Oh, hold on. I'll tell you why. No matter how far you draw this out, the orange line, if you went to infinity and you drew the sight line out into infinity, those two are never going to intersect in this diagram. You'll never take up that visual space in between the green line and the yellow line. This is an
But
incorrect. You are drawing
Here's the
orthographic to represent perspective. You're
Here's-
mixing the two
Here's
up.
the problem, right? What you just said is complete nonsense, and I'll tell you why. Right? If I was to draw that line out 50 miles,
Mhm.
what would be the distance that you would see? How the height of that stake would appear very, very, in fact, you wouldn't even see it, would you? If that stake was 6 foot high and this line went out 50 miles, would you notice the difference between the ground and that line? Would you notice it?
No, so where's that represented in this diagram? Because I see 3 purple lines that are all the same.
I cannot extend it 50 miles because that you wouldn't be able to see anything. But on that scale,
Even in the space,
this
even
is
if it's
why.
50 feet, then the furthest purple line would be shorter.
It would only appear shorter. It would not be shorter.
But you're measuring what appears. You're measuring how things appear to you. You're not measuring the Euclidean physical space.
Exactly.
Right, and the thing we did this
Exactly,
weekend.
Exactly. Okay, exactly. Listen to all of us real quick. We are all on board with what Brandon just said. Okay?
The thing that you did this weekend shows that the horizon would drop as you came up off it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this at length here. When you look out and see the world, you're seeing a 2D representation, a perspective-based visual view of the world. You are representing that in this Euclidean physical space orthographic diagram. You're mixing the two up.
This diagram is a diagram of reality. I am not mixing anything because I can calculate exactly
It's not
how
critical
many.
think,
Now,
'cause
wait a
those
minute.
lines are all
Let
the
me
same size.
finish. Let me
It's
finish.
not reality.
Let him
Please
finish.
let
We'll
me
correct
finish.
him when he's done. Go ahead.
I can calculate the exact angular size of something given the distance. This from this diagram, it represents reality. I can calculate something. I can take a camera, take a picture, and it will agree with my calculations exactly. So it is a representation of reality. It's not divorced from it.
But you're not
Well,
showing
after
those
seeing Travis's-
relationships. You're not showing those relationships, that diminishing size in this diagram, are you?
Yes, I am. If you
No, you're
understood the
not.
diagram, yes, I am.
So
If you understood
are
the
those
diagram,
purple lines different lengths or different heights?
in reality, those purple lines are all the same height. But if you're looking at it from a camera, they are going to appear. The furthest one is going to appear smaller,
So,
and by
oh,
exactly
yes?
how much is determined by the distances.
So what are we?
Well,
So what
this
are you
is
trying to
basic-
represent here? The physical Euclidean space, or how we see things with perspective?
I don't use words like that, right? This is
Those are
a
the correct
representation.
words to use when you're talking about this subject.
No, I'm not going to argue about this words of Euclidean
Which
space,
word don't
etc.
you agree with? What word don't you like?
I think you're in the wrong saloon, pal.
I don't care,
I
right?
think
Listen,
after hold on a second. I think after seeing
listen,
Travis's
just
pictures
because you
yesterday-
use fancy words doesn't change the reality of the situation.
Those aren't
The
fancy
reality
words.
situation
Yeah, they're not
is
fancy words.
Hold on, he said he could predict how small something was going to get with distance, but after seeing Travis's pictures yesterday, I'm not so sure that he could.
Well, that's a whole different
Have
variable
you-
we're
like,
introducing
listen.
there. But go ahead, critical think.
Now,
Respond.
Ruhif has been on this show and showed you how to do this. You've bagged him for it.
Yeah, and we
but this,
tore him apart.
yeah. This is because this is how you do it. Every picture that you take, if you know the distance and you know the angular size, you know how big something is. And this diagram shows how it works. You can see that the last stick, the angle between the green line and the top line is a smaller angle than the angle on the first stick. You can measure those angles on this diagram. If you know the distances, it all fits together. There's nothing incongruent about it.
It all
It
fits
matches
together if
reality.
you assume the ball. When you go out and do these measurements in reality, the results you get,
Fancy
and you
words.
assume your ball, then you'll say, oh, it all matches. That's because you are
No,
representing the perspective space in Euclidean physical in your orthographic. So you are mixing two up. That's where you're getting your ball from.
No,
Brandon, you
this
can
is nothing
easily
to do
convert-
with a ball, right? This
Easily
diagram
convert
here.
between perspective and orthographic. Perfectly convert between perspective and orthographic.
That's what you guys say, yeah.
Well,
You
can
can.
Can you do the geometry?
I'm sorry?
I can do it. Can you?
You can assume in your ball, yeah.
No.
This is not
just
ball.
CT's diagram. CT's diagram could be over 10 meters, and I can place my camera and tell you what a photo would look like.
Yeah, I have been asking for that. I have been asking for that from your side for 2 years. No one stepped up
how to
yet,
do
so
perspective
have at it.
geometry. I can do that. Sure.
Yeah, I've got stuff prepared. I can do that too. And I've already done it in one of my videos. I've lined up some small batteries, and I've calculated what it looks like on the camera. I've taken a picture of it, and it all works out. You can go and
On
look
a
at that video.
table?
I've already done
Okay,
it.
On
no,
a table, that's-
that's not what I'm talking about. Hold on real quick. Sorry, Brendan. I'm talking about I will go and get you all the specs for the red roof house or the pavilion. and I want you to tell me what the angular size is going to be from the distance that I shoot it at the observation height that I shoot it.
So you've just moved the goalpost. Thanks very much for that. You
No, I didn't.
No,
I
you
didn't.
said nobody
You
did
said
it.
you could do
I
this.
pointed out that I did
No,
do
you
it,
did.
and you just moved the goalpost.
No.
You said you could do
We're
this a minute
talking
ago.
about. Sorry, we are talking about.
No, Travis, ask him how did you move the goalposts?
Okay, that's a good. Okay, good. Thank you. How did I move the goalposts?
Because you asked, you've been waiting for something like this from Globers for a long time. Nobody's ever done it. I told you how I'd done it. I told you I had a video, and then you go, oh, wait a minute. If I show you a
Present
picture,
that video for us,
Hold
please.
on now.
and the answer is yes. If you give us the information, we can calculate what the angular sizes should be.
Ruhip, there's a lot of background noise coming from your side.
Okay, again,
Is it okay now?
again, I don't think you
Is it
answered
better
the
now?
No,
question.
you're bleeping in and
Yeah.
out. Go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I don't believe that I moved the goalpost. So I don't think that you actually answered the question. So can you try again? How did I move the goalpost?
I told you. I'm not going to answer it again.
Okay, well then you didn't answer
'Cause you're full of
the
shit.
question. Okay, hold on real quick. You didn't answer the question. First of all, because we're not talking about looking at batteries on a table. We're talking about making observations over distance, either aquatic or terrestrial. Now, I know you can give me your calculations for the specs on the objects that I give you information on if you treat it as if it's on paper. However, I want you to tell me what the size of the object is going to be on a particular day at 76 degrees air temperature, 70 degrees water temperature, whatever the barometric pressure is. I want you to make the prediction then. And that is what I'm saying you cannot do.
I'm not really sure what you're getting at. You seem to be drifting from what we're talking about. We're talking
no, not
about.
at all. Not at all.
Can I talk? You seem to be drifting from where we're talking about perspective and how it works. You mentioned something about a building or something. It doesn't matter whether it's on land or sea, but preferably on land where the refraction is not so big near the surface. But if you take the measurements of a building, you get inside, take a photo, we can tell you what the angular sizes should be.
I just said that. I know you can do that. What I'm telling you is you cannot adequately predict what that building is going to look like, regardless of whether or not you know the indexes of the day.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying, because
there's
yes, you
something even
can.
deeper.
Here it is.
That's another variable that
Again.
you're bringing into it with refraction, which is fine. I'll let you finish, but I do want to get back to the perspective calculation element of this. So I've got some slides after you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So here it is. This is the way it works in my mind. Okay, so if I give you the specs and you plot them out on a piece of paper, right? You plot them out on a piece of paper, you show me your equation, and then you draw a picture of how big it should be to scale on that piece of paper. Let's just say you can do it. Okay. Now that is what the concrete mathematical expression will be. Now, if I give you then the temperature of the day and all of the other index variables, you're going to have to change the appearance of that object because refraction is going to screw with your math.
So it'll be only by a small percentage. So why?
No. Show me that. Show me what that small percentage looks like, because that is absolutely meaningless. I can show you two pictures of the same location, and in one, you can't even tell what the object is, and in the other, it's right there in front of you, crystal clear. So
we all know that refraction over water is very variable, which is why we try to get higher than just a few feet above the water, where refraction is a little bit more of a constant.
and
we
yet-
want to eliminate refraction. This is not an argument about whether refraction occurs or not. This is an argument
that's not what
about
I'm
whether
saying.
the Earth
Yeah.
is a globe or
That's
the Earth
not-
is flat.
That
Now,
is not.
if you're wanting to settle the argument about whether the Earth is a
The
globe or a
Earth isn't
flat,
flat.
then you should eliminate refraction as best you can or account for it somehow. And that's how you do a proper scientific investigation, not blame refraction all the time.
We don't need a
there's-
lecture about proper scientific investigation. You're making
Yes.
assumptions
Yes, you
about
do.
we're making assumptions about refraction. Let's get away from refraction. Can I share something with you? Because that's a worthwhile discussion, but you're right. We're talking about the geometry of the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me share
The geometry
something.
in his picture, his level is a horizontal plane. The ground that his level is on is a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
So he's got two straight lines, two horizontal planes that are parallel to each other. Where's the curve?
Yeah, we went
I'm not
over
saying
that.
that
But let
there's
me
a
share
curve
my
here.
screen.
I'm saying this is what it is like, no matter flat or curved, but this particular instance is flat. I've got a lot more
It
slides, but
does
I'm not
make
going to
a
get through
difference.
them.
have
It does
no
make a difference. It does
yeah,
make a
you've got
difference
no
what it'll
difference
look
between
like.
a flat plane.
Here, let me show you something. Do you see my screen? Should see some clouds. Just click my name and then
Yes.
critically, do you see it?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right, I think I can see it now. Yeah.
You can see it now. Okay.
I see it.
So these clouds, assume these clouds are all above the ground at the same height, which is not a bad assumption, but there's probably some variation. But for our purposes, let's just assume they're at the same height. This is our horizon, roughly. The center of my field of view as I look out. You can't see the exact horizon, but you'll notice that these clouds continue going down towards the horizon, correct? Now, if I were to draw an orthographic representation of this observation, this is how I would draw it, right? And I would continue this out. Let's say the clouds went out further, depending on what our scale is. Just like your diagram, I would have, they would become increasing angles that go out as this parallel line to the ground moves out, right? So the angle to the clouds changes, but the distance above the horizon remains the same, and the space between the clouds and the horizon is never violated in this diagram. This space, no matter how far I draw these two parallel lines out, is never violated down here. This is never violated. But in reality, when we look at this picture, we perceive the world in 2D. We perceive a 2D representation of the world. That's how we see it. So what we see is these clouds sloping down to the ground to a what is it called? A vanishing point that appears to intersect the ground itself. So none of this space is not violated. In this space is always unviolated by clouds. In this, all the space is taken up because it's a 2D representation.
You're assuming it's flat Earth there, Brandon. You're assuming it's flat Earth.
Yes, exactly. So that's the other point that I'm getting to. So that's where that's the difference between what we're saying is. So I realize that the world is 2D that I'm measuring. This visual space is a function of the way we see the world perspective wise. What you say is the reason that this slants down is because the Earth's a globe and the ground is curving away from you the same amount to make these clouds go down towards the ground and eventually meet the horizon. So you've created math where you've replaced perspective with the ground shape.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
We never disagree. Not disagreeing about how perspective works.
Yeah, spot on.
There is two different effects, perspective and curve. They're two different ones, and you can measure both of them. And that's how you determine whether the Earth is flat or curved, by getting the perspective view and working out, does what you see match exactly the perspective view or does it not?
So this is how I would draw this out. This is how I would
Why
draw
are there
it out.
ever clouds below eye level? How can something above eye level ever appear below eye level? Your clouds can appear below eye level.
No.
Did you film the
They
lights
go
and
in
pebbles disappearing?
the sky, things above you terminate at a vanishing point. Depending on their height above the ground, they terminate into a vanishing point.
If they are higher than you, they will never appear below eye level.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because we've just photographed the sun and clouds below eye level.
How can something at floor level end up at eye level?
Just because this
In the
looks like
infinite.
it's at
Below
eye
eye
level
level,
does
because
not
it's
mean
still
that
up in
it's
the
at
sky.
eye
It is.
level.
It's
This is
measurably below eye
what's
level.
confusing you. You know, it is not. This is not below eye level.
It's
No.
My
measurably below eye
picture
level.
shows sun below eye level.
If you went out to that island, if you marked a dot at your height on that island, that sun is going to be way above you still.
No, the sun is below eye level. This is what an auto level does. Gives you horizontal.
Okay,
Or
the
how
auto level's got
Ruhif,
much of a
the
distance?
sun never goes below eye level. It's always still
It's
up
fucking
the same
measurable
height.
page. That's what the photo is.
So you think
Measurably
the sun
below eye level.
comes down to the ground?
It's obviously going behind the horizon page. Obviously.
It appears to go
Perspective.
into
an
a
eye
vanishing point.
Perspective.
I would agree with that. Yes, that it is perspective.
Then why doesn't it get smaller? Why doesn't it get smaller?
Brandon, in the
Well,
chat,
because that's not the sun.
I've put pictures of
Right,
on
you didn't get it.
hallway in the chat.
I'm sorry.
Have a
Wait, hold on,
You
hold on.
still only have two horizontal planes parallel to each other. You're using
Okay.
perspective to
Hold on,
get
just
those.
Okay, hold on, just real quick. Ruhip, are you
And
telling
that's when
me
I
that?
said Brandon is assuming a flat Earth.
Okay, hold on, real quick, Ruhip. Are you telling me that in Critical Think's image, that image of the sun, do you believe that that is accurate? The physical representation that you're seeing at that time, that is the sun.
What kind of a question is that, Travis?
It's
Do I believe he took a photo?
It's a closed question. It's not an open question. It's a closed question. That is, you have one answer, yes or no.
Yeah, I believe Critical Think took a photo of the sun with his eye level, with his.
That's not what I asked. That is not what I asked. Why is it so hard to have a
but now you're
conversation?
going to go on some bullshit. This is why I don't talk to you, Travis.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but
That's
why can't
not
you just
bullshit,
answer the
though,
question?
Ruhip. There's lots of atmospheric effects that are in that sun.
I
Yeah,
You're
agree.
he
not
doesn't talk to you,
seeing.
Travis, because you get him in a corner and won't let him out, and he doesn't like it.
He'll just bullshit. What's
Just
your question,
answer him
Travis?
then, Ruhif. Simple.
What's your question?
Rats fight dirty when they're trapped.
My question is whether or not you believe that the image that is on Critical Think is an accurate representation of the physical sun at that moment.
Are you asking whether I think it's refracted? Of course I think it's refracted.
Put the image back up, Critical Think. I'll reshare
Wow,
your screen.
why can't you just
I'm wrong
answer
anyway.
the question that I asked? What's
Yeah,
the
Okay,
yes or
it's
no,
refracted.
Ruhif.
It's a refracted
Just
image
answer it,
because
Ruhif.
every single
So
camera,
no, it's not
every.
a
The
good
answer is
representation.
no.
Do you want me to answer? Every single
Would
photo
like you
has
to,
refraction
yes.
in it. Yeah, every single photo you take, if you take a camera and take a photo of the hand in front of your face, there is refraction in that photo. So is
But
that your question, Travis?
You've kind of got a contradiction here. Sorry to step on you, Travis, but you know what they tell us about the sun's and the moon's position as they near the horizon. In fact, they say the same thing about Polaris. They're not reliable under 15 degrees for you to make any judgments about your position to use for navigation. And in fact, you say that the sun is already behind the geometric edge of the Earth, yet we still see it. So the answer is no, Ruhip. That is not the sun we're seeing. It is
It's
not
not the sun.
directly
Is
in
the
front. If
sun-
I
is
shot
the
a
actual
giant
sun
gun at that
lower or
sun,
higher?
you don't know if we'd hit it or not.
Is the sun lower or higher?
Is it lower or higher?
I would say that it
This
is
is your
at
claim.
least at the top of that point, but no, it is not below eye level. It's never going to be below eye level. It's always above the Earth. Now, it may appear
Yeah, we
very
see it
low.
every day.
It may appear very below eye level, as in your thing that you've got here. That doesn't mean it's actually below eye level. That's how perspective works.
No, perspective works. If something is above eye level in reality, it will never appear below eye level. It will always appear above.
If I had a plane,
But what if it's
I had a plane
refracted?
5,000 feet up,
Well,
and
then
it
in your
flew
code
out
model,
6,000
it won't
miles, because
work.
the sun is approximately at least 6,000 miles away from us on a flat plane when we can't see it, right? Somewhere around there. How close to the fucking horizon do you think it would be, Ruhif?
Oh, I would love you guys to do the trigonometry.
But you won't accept our trigonometry because you.
No, you won't do it.
No,
do the trigonometry.
You calculate perspective based on a globe. You calculate it completely different.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
you use
I don't.
the orthographic method.
I can calculate perspective on
Yes,
any
you are doing that.
model you like. I can calculate perspective on any model you like.
Why hasn't Uncle Phil done it in his diagram?
Are you talking about angular size or perspective, line of sight? I'm talking about line of sight.
Okay, so just real quick. Okay, so what I can do then, I'll try to work with you on this. Okay, so
Ruby, would you mind going on mute, please, Doll? Because I can't hear Travis when he gets cut out by your.
Okay, so it would be very simple, I think, because I've done enough observations at the Concord Point Lighthouse. The Concord Point Lighthouse is at an elevation of 10 feet and then stands with a focal light at 34 feet, I believe. Okay, so that's roughly 44 feet above sea level. And I've got pictures of it and whatnot. You can see the dimensions. So, you know, if you want to collaborate with me in terms of you doing trigonometry on that from the distance that I shoot it at 5.85 miles, you know, we can see how that works out.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Do you accept that challenge?
Yeah, that's what we need. We need to be working together. That would be great.
Did I hear some moron say that the sun was not below horizontal? My God.
Oh, jeez, Brandon.
Jesus Christ, how stupid can you be?
Learn, Brandon. He cannot learn.
You've got 2 seconds to say something productive or you're fucking gone.
The sun is below the horizontal. That's basic evidence. Look at the photograph I've got on screen. How you can deny the sun is below your horizontal is just amazing. You don't believe the evidence of your eyes. You're not only a science denier, you're not only a reality denier, you're a denier of your own vision or photographs that other people take.
Your point.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so that was like 5 insults, Rumpus. See you later, brother. We're having a conversation here, not a insult fest like the playground school kids.
I've always seen the Globers do math for the curve, but I've never seen them do any perspective math.
I would love to. I would love to show you guys.
We wanted one flat earther to do what was just said there, is to work
How
out.
about you work together with us, just like Travis said? Instead of ordering us around and telling us what you want us to do, how
We're trying to help you
about we
guys.
work together and try and figure this out?
Yeah, we've been trying for the last 3 or 4 years, Paige.
We're trying to help you
What do
guys.
you think we're doing here
Get the right
today?
way round.
Well, all I'm hearing from you is you telling us what to do.
Okay.
Travis has made
and look,
Yeah,
flat earthers tell us what to do every bloody day.
Would you guys like lessons in
You're the
trigonometry?
ones making the claim, dude. Like, of course we ask you to back your claim.
Of course, you make a claim of flat Earth, but you don't back it up.
No, the Earth's not flat, dude.
Hello,
The Earth
Brandon.
is not flat.
Hey, what's up,
Fucking hell.
Silent Zero?
May I say something here?
Yes, you
He
can.
said that things above your eye line never go below it, right? And you can disprove this by just putting your eye line on the edge of the table and dragging a coin, and you will see that coin showing like if it's going below your eye level, but indeed it's not. It's the angle and its perspective. That they don't understand perspective though. Those hallways are not long enough to be able to show that.
Show me the geometry. Show me the geometry.
Just put your eye line on the table though. On the edge of the table, drag that.
We don't need the math.
My God, this guy.
This is where flat Earth is now. You can't
They're
use
two
geometry.
different
Okay.
things.
We don't have a problem doing trigonometry or geometry, Ruhif. We really don't.
Then my challenge to you guys is take a guess at the height of the sun and then work out the maximum distance it can possibly be away
honest to make up a bullshit
you have
story.
to.
We are not going to make up a bullshit story.
I have a question.
And you have to, let me just get this out, respond to him, and then we'll go to you, Ranty. You would have to assume one or the other model of perspective. You're using an orthographic approach. We're using two different, totally different approaches, Ruhif. Go ahead, Ranty.
I can convert between perspective and orthographic all day long.
So says
all
you.
All day.
Go ahead, Ranty.
I can stick a camera anywhere in an orthographic scene and take a photo.
And when you
Why don't you do what I told you to do?
You have to assume that you're on a ball. That's the problem. Yours doesn't work in the real world unless you assume you're on a ball. No.
Okay, any model, any scene, I can take a photo from any position. If I know where things are in orthographic Euclidean 3D space, I can take a photo from anywhere on any model.
I can take a photo anywhere on the Earth too. What the hell is your point?
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense.
You're saying that you can't. Yeah, you're saying I can't use. I'm like mixing up perspective and orthographic views.
Yeah.
You can convert between the two.
That's what you think.
Do you not agree? You can convert between the two.
No, you can't.
Do you guys know no geometry at all?
Oh my God, you sound like WS now. This is the
2 minutes?
disagreement.
Yeah.
You're just now dawning on you that this is the disagreement. Go ahead, Ranty.
Okay, so on screen we have an image that was brought in, I believe, by Critical Think, and where we see the sun almost set. Is that right? Was it Critical Think that brought that in?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually sunrise, but it doesn't matter.
Sunrise.
It's equivalent.
Okay, so at sunset or sunrise or whatever, let's go to sunset. So when we see the sun setting, in your model, the sun has already set, right?
Yes, in reality, it's already set. Yes.
Okay, so what's the degrees that you've got as a drop here on your image? Are you saying that matches the globe model?
It matches pretty closely to the globe model. Yes.
Okay, but aren't you saying that this is being loomed up?
When I say matching the globe model, the horizon drop matches the globe model. The loomed up matches the model that the astronomers have worked out by observing the sun, and they've worked out that there's approximate 0.5 degree loomed up of the sun at the horizon.
Right. Okay. So in your model, where we see this, if that was a sunset, the sun would have already set, right?
In physical space, the sun would be behind the horizon. Yes.
Okay, but we see it. So there is a huge discrepancy in that. I mean, where you've got that line, the yellow line, for instance, it doesn't match the globe, does it?
I don't understand the question.
Well, if you're saying that what we're seeing here is loomed up, everything's being loomed up in your model, right? So if it's being loomed up, why isn't it matching the globe?
Okay, the loomed up, the sun, you realise, of course, that the sun is much further away and going through more atmosphere than my piddly 36 kilometres. So
hang on. So you're saying that it's...
The sun would be loomed up a lot, and the island or whatever is loomed up 7 over.
Ruhif, would you agree with what he's just said then, that an extended distance will give you a greater amount of looming?
Yeah. So the thing in the
per angles. So it'll change the angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Loomed up 0.1 or something, whereas the sun, because it goes through, possibly thousands of kilometers of atmosphere, will be loomed up about half a degree.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard any glober say that. Anybody else on the panel heard that there's actually now a scale of looming?
I thought there was only
this is terrestrial.
No, I don't think so.
Actually. This is the distinction. This is the distinction between terrestrial refraction and astronomical refraction. Astronomical refraction goes through thousands of kilometers worth of atmosphere. Terrestrial refraction is only as far as you can see, like 100 k's, whatever.
Right. Okay. So listen. Listen. I'm just glad I stopped by to ask you that question because that's something for us flat earthers to work on, obviously, because now you've brought into a scalable refraction over distance, something I've never heard of before. So, you know.
Well, when I got a question, when the light from the sun is coming through outer space and it hits gas, which way does it bend?
Ranty.
Towards the surface.
Ranty, you never heard them say that you can see your own ass?
Hold on, let Jeremy finish Silent Zero. Go ahead, Jeremy. Finish.
We're in the middle of space in between Earth and the sun. There's a sun ray coming. It hits gas. Which way does it go?
Usually towards the surface of the planet. That's the way the density gradient goes. Because of gravity.
Rude, if I got a question, mate,
So they just assume all this shit and say what light
No,
is doing.
measurable page.
Right.
hang on,
Measurable.
if the Earth
You don't have an R,
starts,
you don't have a distance to the sun, you don't have a size of the sun.
You guys
but you
don't have a
use all
distance
these
to the
things
sun.
anyway.
You guys
No,
don't have a
if
distance
the
to the
Earth
sun.
starts curving away at 3 miles roughly, and then continues to curve away to, be a ball, where are you getting your thousands of kilometres of atmosphere from?
Because the atmosphere goes up, 100 k's
It doesn't
or
go
whatever.
thousands of kilometres.
You're looking
It disappears.
horizontally.
At 40,000 feet, the atmosphere is only 25% of sea level.
Yeah.
So where
Listen,
are these
you're looking-
thousands of kilometres of atmosphere coming from?
Yeah, it'd be like one of these
You're
yellow
looking
tangent
horizontally.
lines, Ruhif, on his picture, like one of these yellow
You're looking-
tangents.
You're looking horizontally. All right?
Yeah, but it's 93 million
Yeah,
miles
which
away,
is
so
a
you'd have to be
tangent
looking
line
in
off
this
the ball.
direction.
Yeah.
That's a tangent off
And
the
how
ball.
far
Where
away?
are the thousands of kilometres coming from?
How far away will the atmosphere be at 100 kilometers where that tangent intersects? How far away is that? My guess would be 1,000 k's.
To here? Where's the atmosphere stop? Here, this is thousands of k's?
He
Who's
just said
displaying
guess.
stuff?
My guess.
Who's
Right,
displaying?
and-
Hold on.
Right,
Well,
and
doesn't even comport with your model.
Watching.
just
Who am
real
I
quick,
watching?
How does
Just real
sunlight
quick.
even get off the sun?
Hold on, just real quick. Just real quick. Not only did Ruhif said it would be my guess, but there would be no way to validate or verify that guess.
No, you could.
It's-
You could
it's a-
drop it.
All it is if you plug into the curve calculator, at
Did
what
you say
distance?
you could draw it?
At,
That's not
At what
validating
distance?
it, Dal. Jeez.
See, on a flat Earth, we would agree there's
Yeah,
thousands of kilometres of atmosphere. But on your model, it doesn't work that way.
Brandon, do you understand that if you're looking horizontal on a globe, you might be looking through 1,000 k's of atmosphere? Do you
And
understand
you're
that?
talking
Yeah,
to
but
FP
listen, do you
Evangelist. I don't know why you're
understand-
addressing me now, Ruhif. Why are you
Yeah,
changing to me?
because then maybe you can get people to shut up and actually I can answer the question.
Answer
Do you
the
understand
question.
that if
Go
you're
ahead.
looking horizontal? Yeah. So the question was,
Somebody's
1,000 kilometers.
triggered.
No. Actually, I don't. So, what is it from
Well, then do the
the?
geometry.
What is it from the your position to 1/4 around the circumference? You're saying that you're looking through all that, or you're looking in a circle,
No,
or,
you
or
draw
what
a
are you saying?
tangent.
Yeah, I
You
see
draw
a
a
tangent.
tangent.
Do you see my screen?
Right? No, you've got critical thinks up.
Okay, you see critical think screen. He's got that yellow line on the top, that tangent, just where it touches the
Yes.
top. That's where you say we are. So if we're looking horizontally from our position, we're following that yellow tangent out. That doesn't go through thousands of kilometers of atmosphere.
At what distance is the hidden amount 100 kilometers? That's when you'll run out of atmosphere. Right? That's when you'll run out of atmosphere.
Yeah, so that's
It
not
might be 1,000
thousands of
k's.
kilometers. It sounds like you're trying to say that you're looking down here and out of the ball. You're looking down around the ball.
This is geometry, simple geometry. Let's stick it into a curve calculator now and we'll work it out.
Can't use
No, I don't
geometry,
think this
Ruhif,
is
'cause
that
you've got
important of a
refracted
point, to be honest with
light,
you.
bent light. You don't have any straight lines to do the geometry.
Yes,
You can.
do. That's what
That
the
sun
effective
is
Earth
already
radius
down.
is for.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
wondering if-
assuming. Oh my God, you're
I'm just
trying to
wondering-
prove. Not assume it to do your math.
You're just limiting discovery, Paige. You can draw these lines. And
Howard, you guys are the ones that have been stuck on a ball model for 500 years. We're trying to move forward. You're the one limiting things.
the thing is, we moved forward
You want
500
to stay in the paradigm you've been in for 500 years.
That's
we
not true,
want to
Howard.
move forward.
People have known the Earth is flat since the dinosaurs, dude. Get with the times.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to
I have an
argue.
answer for you guys.
We've known the Earth's flat
I
for
got a question.
millions of years.
Billions.
At a
bro,
distance.
billions. Don't short ourselves.
Why
If
don't we
you're-
get back to Critical Think's
you're-
presentation? We'll never get through any more of it. But go ahead, Ruhip, make your last point.
Yeah, at a distance of 1,230 kilometers, the refracted hidden is 100 kilometers. That's when your atmosphere will run out. The end.
So not thousands of kilometers. 1,000?
Well,
You've
over
also
1,000.
got to remember that the sun is actually below, so that will make it more kilometers through the atmosphere because the light
Yeah,
is being
so no
bent.
straight lines to
I
do
know.
your measurement.
It's like a pretzel.
It
You
doesn't
just
matter.
twist it
No,
up
it's
and
straight line.
say whatever you want. Okay,
straight
so
line.
go back to your presentation,
Can we
Critical
get a
Think.
concession
Not a
that we're
straight
just talking in hyperbole, Ruhif, or what?
What do you mean hyperbole?
We said
We're not talking
thousands,
hyperbole.
multiple thousands of kilometres, you said.
Fine. You can see a very long way. Over 1,000 Ks. Happy now?
Hey, Brandon,
So
here's
that's a
one.
concession of hyperbole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just say
over
it. Just
1,000
say,
Ks.
yes, FE, I overstated the distance.
All right.
Yes, I
It's the
guessed at the distance.
best you'll
I
get
guessed
from
at the
him.
distance.
Excellent.
And I was
Thank
off
you.
by a
That's all.
few hundred
Cheers,
Ks.
man.
All right. Now that
All right,
point's
we
done,
can see 1,000
Critical
Ks
Think,
of
would you
atmosphere.
like to get back to your presentation?
I'm not going to, I have to go in a few minutes. I'm not going to be able to get through it all.
Well, why don't you come
Which
back
is a pity, but-
later in the week if you can? I mean, you're happy to continue
Yes.
now until your time limit. That's fine. We've got other stuff to talk about tonight too, so I'm happy either way.
Yeah, so I'm really supposed to be working right now, but I've taken some time off, and I just want to mention something that I'm doing the weight change versus latitude measurement again. I'm traveling north starting on Saturday, and I'll be taking measurements of weight that will change as you change latitude, and this is another thing of evidence for the globe, and I've done it twice before. I'm going to do
like
it
the
again.
Plimsoll line where the
Okay.
ships get lower in the water.
It
gonna
supports.
say current air pressure?
Yeah.
There's a lot of correlations with moving around the globe with different things. We understand that. Okay. I don't know how you pick that
Are you gonna
particular correlation, but that's fine.
Are you going to stay at the same elevation in every single place?
Of course not. Don't be an idiot.
No, he ain't being an idiot.
Oh,
Look,
yeah, thanks. Thanks, Critical.
Yeah, don't
I-
ask a question.
okay, listen, hold on, just everybody, hold on,
Be
just-
an idiot.
Yeah, just real quick. Critical, I was asking you an honest question because I would consider that a variable.
And I consider it a variable too, and it's taken into account. You should look at my videos and understand
why
what
didn't you
they're
just
about.
There's no reason to call me an idiot.
let me bring up one point.
Brandon.
Y'all. Mr. Sensible's video, he said the cutoff was 400 miles at like 100,000 feet. So there can't be much atmosphere at 100,000 feet and they see it 400 miles. So what the hell is he even talking about?
Didn't we go past that?
All right, so I apologize for calling you an idiot. There you go. So, I will be
I'm not
doing
really
that.
sure I accept that. Not really sure I accept that.
That's your choice.
Go ahead,
But
Critical.
I did
Let's move on.
publicly apologize.
Brandon.
So there you go.
You guys get over it.
All right, so that's it. I hope to get through today some things about what we talked about level and how it works and how a level works and what implications it has for this picture you see on the screen, but we didn't get there. There's one other thing that one time I will get to mention, but you can think about this now, and that in the direction that I'm looking on to this sunrise, it's about 114 degrees, which is south of east. So somebody can work out how that can work on a flat Earth. And thanks for having me, and I've got to go now.
Hey, thanks for bringing the heat, man. Appreciate you stopping
Wait,
in.
wait.
It's good
The sun's
stuff.
going to go
Brandon.
where it
Before you
goes,
go.
no matter what the
Yummy.
ground is doing.
Hold on. Before he goes, hey, they
It sounds like you're down a long hallway, Brian. That
Brandon, please.
all right.
Hey, don't let him go. I'll be right back.
Well,
Brandon,
I can't stop
you can let
him.
it go. I would just like to issue a formal challenge to a debate with Critical Think on this exact observation this Sunday, and we will go through everything.
Oh.
Okay, can y'all hear me better now? I'm sorry about that.
Whoa, yeah. Let's hear a response.
Yeah,
to,
yeah. Tone it down, Brian.
Let's hear a response to Brian's Rob's challenge. Critical Think. Would you like to debate, Rob?
So I am, as I said, I'm going on a trip. I won't be available for a couple of weeks. So talk about it after that.
Fair enough.
I have a video that Critical Think should see now.
Happy travels.
Thank you, but I do have to go now. I have work to do.
All right, Ranty.
Well, you only take 2 minutes, Critical Think. It'll be done less than 2 minutes.
Oh, Ranty left already. Ranty, you want to hop in again if you're out there? We can do your thing. Okay. So I did intend to talk about the Pete the Great's latest observation tonight, but Brian, there was something you're dying to get out. Brian Leakey. So go ahead, man. You there?
Okay, yeah, here I am. They talk about the inversion here when we're looking at the atmosphere, and they're talking about the inversion of just a few degrees, right? It's a few degrees of temperature, and the pressure is just so slow. But if you look at the high altitude balloon footage, when you hit about 50,000 feet, then the temperature jumps from about -80 to about plus 82 Fahrenheit, and only a matter of about 60,000 feet, and the pressure starts to go up as well. And it is said that the pressure or the temperature goes up to like a few thousand degrees, you know, whether we're debating that or not, you know, is contrast. But if you're talking about them altitudes, the inversion, and they say if the pressure, you know what they say with refraction, how on the horizon, since the pressure is getting lighter, then everything bends down, and allowing us to see shit from around the ball. But in reality, it's an opposite inversion at 50,000 feet, and it's way greater than at ground level. The pressure starts going up, the temperature starts, and that would cause the
Yep.
I mean on the
robot.
Yeah, you're roboting again.
But yeah, I meant to say on the ground. All right. Well, you see what I'm saying? They need to ponder that. They've got no answer to that.
Yeah, that's kind of what Jeremy was getting at too, I believe. That's a good point. I'd like to hear more about that. I don't know much about that change in temperature.
I just joined, and I'm gonna back off. Brandon. But I just joined. I guess apparently I was a little bit late because when I joined, I was talking about something they already talked about. But apparently, me and Jeremy think exactly the same, man. If he mentioned something like that, that is awesome, dude. All right, y'all.
Something else to go along with what I was saying before is if lights being lights coming off the sun in 360 degrees all around it, and it's bending towards the more dense medium, wouldn't you have like the whole planet lit up almost? Because it would just, the light rays are all over on the other side.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
Hey, I'll be back, guys. I'll be back. You guys can continue discussion. I'm going to go talk to Randy in the debate room. Got a special thing. You can watch it in the room if you want, or on YouTube. I will be right back, though. Won't take too long.
Take your time.
Yeah, that is a trip.
Yo, Ranty.
Yo, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, that was an interesting start to the show, wasn't it?
Yeah. Critical Think. He's been popping in every now and then. He brings some good stuff. I'm happy to have him come in and challenge us. That's always nice. Want to hear both sides of things, so very happy for that.
Yeah, he never came on the show when I was running it, so maybe that's a sign of better things to come. Who knows? Maybe.
Well, he had been putting out hit videos on me, so he's taken a liking to me. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know.
Did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him?
No, he just stopped in. Something we said must have got under his skin. I don't know.
Wonder if you can get some of the others on. That would be quite the show if you had a few other people on. Fight the Flat Earth. See if you could get him in.
Yeah. Almost anybody's welcome. We'll see what we can do. So you had something for the audience. Did you want to share? Or did you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Yeah. I've just put a little GoFundMe together if anybody wants to help support me over the next few weeks over Christmas with a few other bills and things coming in. yeah, it's all down there in the story if people want to read it. I don't really want to talk about it too much. It's upsetting. So, yeah, I've just put, I've sent you the link, haven't I, Brandon? So, I mean, if you want to show that and perhaps put it in the chat, I don't mind. But people know me. People know that, I don't reach out like this very often. But, it would be nice if I could get a little bit of support on this. And I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's all I really want to say about that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I just put the link in there, and I'll spam that a couple times. And I did read the GoFundMe and pitched you a few dollars off line, which is possible too with the PayPal, since it goes directly to you. But yeah, I know all the trouble you've had this year, and when you said you wanted to come on here and do this, I completely understand the reluctance to do something like that, but the absolute necessity for you to do something to help get you through.
Been a rough year, mate.
Yeah.
Been a rough year.
Yeah. So sorry for all of your troubles. Oops, I just opened something else.
You don't want to do that.
Coincidentally, it was Ranty's pantry.
Tell us about. I've never had a sale on that yet. Funnily enough. So there you go.
Well, you should have one. I bought a sweatshirt for Flat for Life.
Did you? Yeah, I didn't even get a notification for that. That's interesting.
It should have shipped out. I think they said it was going to ship Friday. He got one of the sunset ones, which are pretty cool.
All right. Okay.
These ones right here. He got one of these ones. Yeah. So I ordered that for him because he won the contest in November for using Streamlabs instead of Super Chat. And his name was picked, so that was pretty cool. That's the only order. Maybe you don't get a notification of it until they actually ship or something. That's weird.
Did you manage to get your everything sorted out with the transferring everything over into, I know the channel's in your name, but did you manage to go through AdSense and everything and get that sorted out?
I've got to do that yet. I was just thinking about that earlier, and I will do that either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Get that all straightened out. Yep.
So I can do a bit of shilling for you that, it's your channel now, it's your baby. You've got to take the flack that comes with it, I suppose. We've had a bit of drama in the Discord, so.
Yeah, my favorite thing in the world, drama.
It's kind of difficult running those things.
Absolutely, it comes with the territory, I guess. So try to make the right decision, and that's about all you can do. So whatever.
Well, it's a transitional period, mate. I mean, it's like, people are just got to get used to that there was your way of running it and there's my way of running it, and I think we've got a very similar way of doing it, but it's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is a lot of work. There's a lot to it, and just getting ready for the shows, making sure you got enough to talk about, making sure you've done an analysis, and there's all this other stuff you want to get to. I have 3 or 4 videos on the back burner that I want to pull together that you just don't have time for it,
Yeah, man, it's daunting. I mean, imagine if you was taking emails, you had your Twitter to run, your Facebook group, as well as what you're already doing. I mean, your head would be out.
Oh, I would just have to ignore most of it, if that were the case. I try to stay engaged and respond on YouTube and Discord the best I can, just because I want to do it mostly anyway, not for anybody else. Yeah. But I enjoy the back and forth and discussing things. But yeah, there's a lot of demands on your time. It could easily suck up all your time if you let it. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to get done next year. I'm still intending to go down to Australia, so that's still on the go. That's still what I want to do. I want to go down there and do the sunset research. So that's still going to happen.
Well, that'll be awesome. Maybe you can be our Australian on the road correspondent and check in with us. Give us an update on what's going on down there.
Well, yeah. It's going to take at least 4 months, I think, to do the trip. So I'll be on the road for that entire time. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that done and getting that. That's going to be my probably final bit of research that I do on flat Earth, but I think it's something that nobody's done before, and I think the Globers will look at it and think they can trust the work that I'm putting forth too. There's going to be no shenanigans going on. I've never been that way, so I think they can take the research as is, and I'll just upload it and give it out. People can do the research on it, and hopefully we might get some answers about what's going on down there.
Well, right off the bat, you're gonna prove whether Australia exists or not. So you're gonna get an immediate win, obviously.
And how big it is. I do intend to try and measure it. I've got a plan for that, but it does include keeping the tire pressure perfect on the car so that you get an accurate distance in as you drive it. So I intend to go all around the peninsula and take measurements as I go. So that will be interesting, because there was a video out there that said that they didn't believe that the size of Australia was the size of Australia. So it'd be interesting to actually measure that.
Well, I've got my questions about it too. I generally don't trust the official maps just because obviously I'm a flat earther and think that they are hiding something to make it fit their ball. But I would be curious about the size. Absolutely. Another thing is on the plane ride down there, if you could, get a compass and, track which way the plane's going and what you see out the windows and record all that stuff. I think that would be pretty cool too.
Well, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to take as much data as I can, and then I can sit back afterwards and think, well, I'll let other people unravel it. It's 5 years of research already into this, and one more year of doing this research, and then hang up the boots for good, kind of thing. So that's the plan. And why not go out with a bang? I mean, that'll be some research to leave people to scrutinize over the next couple of years, I would think.
Yeah, oh yeah, that'll be quite the bang too if you do that.
Well, it is what it is. Anyway, so thanks for giving me a segment on your show. I do appreciate it. So if you can support the GoFundMe, guys, I really would appreciate it. I don't need you can read the story there, and I don't really like that. I just don't want to really talk about it too much, but it is what it is. There you go. If you want to help, brilliant. If not, I do appreciate everyone struggling right now, and it's coming up to Christmas, and times are tough for everyone. So yeah, I'm not the only person out there that's having a tough time either. So yeah, no, there's no obligation either way. I'm just reaching out for a little bit of help, and if people can do that, that would be great.
That's cool, Ranty. Yep. I hope things get better for you, and I know you're going through a tough time. So my thoughts are with you, and I'll plug this a couple times for you. Pop it in the chat.
No worries.
Cool.
Yeah, Mum's funeral's on Monday as well. I mean, it's weird, because the vicar can't come to the house anymore, so they, but having to write it all down. Normally they come to the house and they'll sit there and they take all the notes. You just talk to them, you get it over with. But then sitting here, having to type out everything, Mum's place of birth, who her relatives were, grandma, granddad, all that kind of stuff. Things that you wouldn't normally doing, but because of COVID, they're not allowed to come around the house.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
So having to type all that out and type, you've got to basically fill in what you want to be said. You might as well write it yourself, and just doing that makes you so upset, but it's something that we have to do in these times,
Absolutely. Yep. Hopefully will be over soon, but I hope 2021 is a better year.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, they wanted to do the burial on the 30th. Get this, and I thought, there's just no way I can go through Christmas, and I still have the burial to go through.
Oh no, just get it over with. That's too long to wait. It's more than 2 weeks. Yeah.
So I pushed, and he got it for the 21st. So, I mean, I was thinking back. Every year from now, you'll be celebrating Christmas and looking forward to New Year. And between Christmas and New Year, every year you'll be thinking, "Oh, this is the day they were buried my mum." The 30th. I just thought, I can't deal with that. I need to have before Christmas, and then you can have the celebrations after that.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, best wishes to your family. I hope everybody's doing all right.
Shout shout out to my mum and hope everybody said a prayer for her because I put a community post out.
Yep. Thanks, Ranty.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. You gonna rejoin us, or are you you feel?
Yeah. I'll hop back in. Give me 5 minutes. I just need to sort myself out.
Cool. You might like these observations. That'd be cool. We'll see you in a minute, man. All right. Let's see what kind of trouble they're in over here.
You know, you don't even have to walk; just fly.
They, they claim that it's too treacherous. If the plane goes down, there's no way to get to them, and it's so cold.
Yeah, it's too
Oh,
treacherous
my body,
to fly,
my
but a
choice.
little It's too treacherous to fly, but a little 16-year-old girl did it on skis. But it's too treacherous to fly, though.
Where's this at?
Oh, we were talking about Antarctica.
Oh, Antarctica. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so you guys want to
too treacherous. Go ahead, yeah.
I was going to ask you if you guys want to take a look at this observation from Pete the Great. It's pretty awesome. Kind of goes along with what we've been talking about too, about the sunset and measuring the sun with critical think stuff. So let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen in just a second, and we will watch it together. First, there is an image of the target. So we're going to be looking at this target. It is approximately 300 feet away. I'm bringing up a note so I can double check that, make sure that's what he said, but that's what I remember. Let me just check this here. 300 feet away. And he's got this wood block in front with a little boat. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a boat, a black boat on the left.
Is everyone seeing a clear image?
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anything that I can really. Yeah,
Brandon, it's fucked up.
All right, hold on. Let me show
Yeah,
you.
the window's over the top of the image.
Rumpus is still got his window open and he's streaming. Is that gonna make anything lag?
I don't know, but let's see if we can quit it.
We got you now. We got you. You're good.
There, Rumpus is disconnected. You got it now? You can see it?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, let me enhance that, make that a little bigger. So anyway, this is his target. I just want to point out the things on this because this is what we're going to be looking at in detail. And he couldn't be here because he's working, but he's got two lasers, two on the left of this target. That's how we'll see him in the video. And then he's got a light on the right. And you can see that's about, I'd imagine, maybe 1 centimeter tall. So the light is on the top of that. And it's a centimeter off the ground. He's got this red boat and the black boat. These are things you should watch for in the video. He's got this green LCD-like thing. There is a light in here, I believe, if I remember correctly, and a pink one on top of it, on top of the bottom 2x4. That's what we're going to be looking at. You can see the garage door in the back. Let me see if this has, he's got another image of it here. Here's what it looks like. Get the exact thing here. Yeah, so that light's actually roughly 2 centimeters off the ground, we'll call it. The boat is 3 centimeters tall on the right. The red part of it is about 2 centimeters. And then the black boat is 2 centimeters and the blue part is less than 1 centimeter, it looks like. Okay, so there's that image. We can refer back to this after we watch the video. You can see the laser. This one over here looks like it's about 4 centimeters off the ground. And the bottom one is sitting right on the ground. Let me make sure that he didn't give me any other notes on this thing that I am failing to read. Said around 80 meters from the object. So I was a little off. 240 feet, 80 meters. He first lowers the camera to the floor. You'll see that at the beginning of the video. Then open and close the door behind the camera. That's the first couple minutes. Then after a couple minutes, he opens and closes the door behind the objects. And then he lets it settle down. That's when we'll really see something cool, is when he opens it behind the objects. We've seen something similar before, but this kind of substantiates it even more. Shows that it's repeatable. And he might be here on Friday to talk about this if we desire. Let me bring up the video.
He did that. He did that quick.
He did. He turned it around quick. Jeremy and I talked to him over the weekend and we're like, hey, we've got some ideas. Try to do it with the cold air coming from behind you or reverse as you were doing it. And this is what he came up with. So here we go.
Before you show this, all right, go ahead. Never mind.
No, go ahead. I'll just start playing.
No, before you show this, this is what happens on Earth every day. As the sun's going over you, it's heating up the gas right underneath it, and then as it goes away from you, the sun goes away from you, the gas around you is getting colder and colder. It happens every day, nonstop.
All right, you can see he's lowering.
It never ends anyway.
Sorry, I thought you're done.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
He's lowering the camera, and he just set it on the floor. And in a second,
hold on, Discord's froze.
Oh, is it froze or is it because the image isn't doing much?
I'm just seeing the boats. I'm just seeing the boats and the.
Yeah, it's just a still image right now.
Oh, this fucking thing. All right, 1 second. This thing, it frustrates me to no end. It's just.
What do you got, a Mac?
Yeah. All right, ready? Can you see it now?
Yeah, you're good.
So let me play the beginning. This is all it does is he lowers the camera to the ground in the beginning. You can see the target down there, the laser on the left. And you can see he said the laser on the floor didn't shine very brightly, but the flashlight on the right, you see that? And you see the green and orange, and you see the two boats. Now, as he lowered it, you can already see some doubling in the center. I know it's pretty small.
Shout out to Brandon and Ranty.
Hey, shout out to Flat for Life, donated $10. Appreciate that, Flat for Life. Appreciate that. So you can already see some doubling here. I wish I could make this bigger. I did pop it in Premiere Pro, so I might open that.
I can see it. I got it. If people zoom in on the object, they can see it better.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you can zoom in your phone or whatever. So he opened the door behind. You can see it's kind of waving around now. So that goes on for a little bit. I'm just gonna let it play because you will notice some things. And Travis, since you've got a lot of experience with that, if there's anything you notice while we're watching it, maybe you could just point it out too.
I see the air moving coming in across the floor.
Looks like a hot day or like a hot hazy day on the road.
Yeah, you see that? You can really see it like coming in from over here and over here.
We're even getting a reflective layer of miraging, refraction, whatever.
Yeah, and it's like making its way up here. It looks like it's flowing in this direction to me.
Looks like the ether band Travis is always talking about, no?
It looks pretty much like some of the ether band stuff, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really neat. So yeah, so this is he opened the door behind him. And then this continues to kind of waft over here or whatever. Maybe reach that side. That's what I'm assuming is happening, is that cold air is kind of spreading out. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's created this inversion layer. Now you can see the pink light below that layer. See that? Reflected below it.
Yeah.
Actually, everything is reflected possibly. I see the bottom of the black boat there too, reflected in the laser. And even the flashlight's probably doubled up too. So
yeah, like the Rayleigh criteria, you can I can kind of see a line right through the flashlight right now, right?
Yeah, the flashlight looks huge compared to when it.
You can also see the reflection of the garage door circles. I call them circles. And other stuff reflecting off of the wall.
All right, I paused it there. Now he's going to open the door behind it. And this is when the fireworks start, in my opinion. So here we go. So he opens the door for a few seconds. Lets all that cold air in. Now he's going to close the door. And you'll see what happens here.
It went away, or the light.
Yeah, lights are wiggly.
Well, that
one light's gone.
It's gone. Completely gone.
Yeah, the green light's gone.
It must have went behind the geometric horizon.
The boat on the left is almost completely gone, and the boat on the right, you can't see the red anymore. You can't even see the bottom green thing hardly at all.
So the two lasers on the left.
Yeah, the lasers are on the left. Yeah.
Okay, so what's interesting is the intensity of the laser is cutting through the medium, whereas the flashlight couldn't do it.
That's a very interesting observation. Yeah, the laser beam is making its way to us.
Oh, sorry, guys. There we go. I think maybe that laser's
Michael,
a little
okay,
higher
right?
up than. Yeah, it is. It's a little higher up than the flashlight. I don't know if that's making.
Yeah,
the
that's
difference.
what I was asking. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
It's the laser is split on the left, though. You can see two. It's like
Yeah,
it
but
looks like
weren't
two.
There were
Oh,
two
what
lasers on the left.
But isn't there
Yeah,
an
but the other
inferior
one was-
mirage on the boats? I am sure there's an inferior mirage on those boats.
Yeah, this is how they're supposed to look.
Yeah, there's definitely an inferior mirage on those boats, and the inferior mirage is, guess what? Hiding in the bottom of the boats.
Look, that light is still gone. And I'm gonna open up a close-up version after we let this play for a little bit more. After it blinks back in. Oops, sorry. All right, so now it slowly kind of blinks back in, and you can see it change. Blinking in and out. And let me just kind of speed through the end of this because it's going to blink back. And then it pretty much comes back by the end. So let me just
Brandon,
speed
can I
through
ask a
that
question
and
real
watch
quick?
that. Watch that as I just kind of speed through it. All right, here, I'll just do the opening behind the door. Ready? Door opens, door closes, bam. The whole floor comes up.
Yep.
You see it happen in real time.
Yep.
All right, so here, let's just do a close up and then we will talk about it. So this is, you guys see that close up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so here we're gonna just play the part where the door goes up and down, and we can see it a little better. It is pixelated because it's such a close up. I mean, it's really close. Oh, let me speed forward a little bit. There's the door up. Okay, now I'll play it. All right, so the door went up.
All right, hold on real quick. How long does he leave the door up?
Well, we can figure that out. Hold on here. All right, so here we'll count it when the door goes up. 12, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, approximately 13 seconds.
And right then at 13, before the door came down, the light started to disappear. Okay.
And now, right now, you can't even see the green of that thing.
Now, is this cold air coming into a warm building?
Yeah, the building is, last time he said it was like 68 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yep, it is cold air coming into a hot building.
Could this be atmospheric distortion?
Yeah, there's definitely some distortion there.
So where is his where is he? Like, I mean, like, is he in Nebraska? Is he in Florida? Do you know?
He's in
in
Northern Europe.
a very cold climate.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I would be very, very interested to see what would happen if his warehouse gets air conditioned in a warmer temperature, and then have him do the same thing, open the door and let the warm air in, and see what happens.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked to him about. That's why he did the door from behind him. It's not exactly the same as you're saying. But I think he did say that he can do that during the
He plans
summer
on doing
months.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just don't buy the temperature inversion. I don't buy it.
What do you mean? What don't you buy?
So, in my opinion, the scientists who started these observations with refraction saw a visual representation of a mirrored image. So the image they saw was inverted, right? The very first conclusion they drew is that the temperature must be inverted without testing at all. They just made an equal sign between what they saw visually to what they think was happening in the air. Now, in my opinion, that nullifies their hypothesis because it was not an observation or experimentation or testing or repeatability, at least as far as I've seen in my research. I've not seen this data. I've only seen them declare, this is what's going on. And I say, how the fuck do you know? So I'm not denying what we're seeing. I'm just saying I don't believe there's a temperature inversion. I don't believe it.
It is interesting to see the air come in and appear to make a reflective
Oh shit. Sorry, missed
coming in with the warm air or what? Over top? Is it coming underneath the warmer air and providing like a surface for reflection, or what's going on there?
The temperature thing that he has going on in here essentially happens every day on Earth as the sun goes over you and passes by you.
Yeah, that again, that is not verifiable.
Well, when it gets nighttime, it usually gets cooler out, right?
Okay, but what happens in the heat of the summer and it still stays 80 degrees, 90 degrees,
Well, it cools down a little bit. I mean,
I understand conceptually what you're saying. I do. I understand it, but I don't feel comfortable making the equivocation as to what's happening in this.
Yeah, directly under the sun is going to be that where it's heating up the gas the most, and then on the edges of that, the cone the sun would form, lighting up the Earth, is going to be a little less hot. And as the sun goes by, it's going to keep heating up the bottom, and as it passes by behind it, it's going to get colder.
Right. Yeah, but what we don't have here is we don't have a heat source traveling over this observation. We just have a wave of air moving in that we cannot make any microscopic observations. If you look, okay, so like we talk about perspective and orthographic, right? So we're looking at this video in perspective. Now, what if we had someone at a 90-degree angle, same distance, looking at it orthographically? Right? We wouldn't be able to, watch the air come in and show us a gradient. We wouldn't see that. We would not see it layer with purple on the bottom for very cold and lavender next because it's warming up and then orange, whatever. It's not going to show us that. So there's no way, in my opinion, to say anything definitively about inversion, temperature. Oh, well, the warm air is on top and the cold air all of a sudden switched to below. I'm like, bullshit. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, that's why some of these
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say, that's why with some of these observations, I wish we had optical corridor measurements of the temperature, humidity, and pressure readings, so that way we would know exactly what's going on in our optical corridor.
It would be nice to observe every part of this, but the explanatory mechanism given, to air layers kind of combining appears, at least initially, satisfactory, unless we can get a better mechanism to explain what's going on.
all it is though, Lemon, is an explanation. There's no verification for what's going on 20 miles away looking at a lighthouse. All they're doing is extrapolating where they're making the observation. If they take any of the temperatures there where they're at, they can take all of the readings they want and have 7 variables in their location. But they're not doing that across the entire distance. They're looking at something 2, 3, 10, 20 miles away, and then just describing what they're seeing, and then saying that's what's happening in the air. That is absolute pseudoscience.
It may just be 2 layers meeting, hot or cold. It may not necessarily be necessary that the colder layer be on the bottom or the top. It may just be necessary that 2 sufficiently different air layers butt up against each other and meet. And perhaps you'd have some sort of reflective layer.
Well, let me try to say it this way. Andrew Thomas Young, in his papers, says that there is, I think, in a vertical layer, 1,000 kilometers, I think it is, 1,000 kilometers from ground level up, there's only like 3.7 degrees difference in temperature. Okay?
Ask what the effect of the differences in the vapor in the air would have at those different temperatures in that confrontation?
Yeah, I'm
That
going to
would
try
affect
to.
it too.
Okay, never mind.
I would hypothesize
Travis, go ahead
that.
and finish. You cut Travis out. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
I don't know that I can get it back. Let me just try to get it back real quick. My point was, you've got allegedly 3.7 temperature degrees Kelvin. I think it was 3.7 Kelvin something or other, whatever. Okay, whatever that value is, I don't know. But that is the only change that you have in 1,000 kilometers vertical. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, it's 3.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so can you tell me the difference between 72 degrees and 75.7 degrees?
A huge world of difference if you have a denser layer that's providing a better layer for reflection. I think that the more hotter, vapory, denser layer of air would be the better reflective layer. So you tend to have the reflection on top of the denser, colder,
Lemon,
more
try to
watery
answer the
layer.
question I asked. Okay, I'm going to ask it again. Can you tell the difference between 72 degrees and 75.7?
Can I tell the difference between 72 and 75?
0.7, yeah.
Whether I can tell the difference is irrelevant. It's whether or not there would be reflection happening, whether or not I can tell the difference. That's an irrelevant question.
Okay, it's not irrelevant.
Do I answer that? I'm going to say no, I can't tell the difference.
Okay, great. My point is that we don't have enough data. We cannot dissect this. If you're telling me, right, because when you read this information with Andrew Thomas Young, okay, and they give you their word spell of the denser medium, the colder air is dense and it's at the bottom, and then all of a sudden you get this inversion where the warm air is flipped up and they talk about, what was the other thing that they talk about? A drastic increase. A drastic increase. I'm sorry, is there a footnote with a value for what that drastic increase is? No. Right? They don't have this data. They simply sit there and talk about what they think is happening and give value to it. So my point was, Lemon, is that no, we can't tell the difference. We don't have that kind of data. And therefore, we cannot make any of these things
that doesn't quite follow, Travis. If we're measuring a difference, assuming we know that there is a 72-degree layer, a 75-degree layer, something's measuring a
There's
difference,
no
whether or not
measurement.
we feel a difference or not. So what we feel is irrelevant. We just need to see if that difference is sufficient enough to cause, quote unquote, refraction, miraging, or what we're seeing in the image. That's what I'm not getting with what you're saying. You're asking me if I can tell the difference. What I can tell is irrelevant. That's what I'm not getting.
There is no measurement. There are no measurements. I've got to go back my truck up. I'll be right back.
Sorry,
Hey,
had to go to
Travis.
the restroom. So I get your point, Travis. There's no measurements, but what we can say from this, I think what I can take away from this at least is the atmosphere and some kind of temperature change can completely obstruct your view of a light source. That light is completely obstructed during some of this. So if it can happen with this light, why couldn't it happen with the sun? I think it makes that hypothesis more plausible.
You're right. You're right.
Brandon, it's not Earth curve then?
It doesn't have to be Earth curve, and at the bottom of these boats are also hidden. But Howard, you had a thought on that?
Yeah, well, my takeaway is it's an example that atmospheric conditions occur that cause phenomena that we see, and in observations and images where miraging and these effects are obviously present, I don't think that those images qualify for evaluation. That's all I get out of it.
But you can, don't you get out of this that those conditions you say can obstruct a light source? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes, they can bend the light away from your eye and you won't see it.
So where's the light getting bent to?
Oh, I don't know. And the mirroring, and this is just an idea. I don't have anything. The mirroring, to me, the light that's coming from those places is being refracted away, and you don't see any light coming from that area, and that's why you see the shimmery mirage.
Yeah. So that light has to be, that effect has to be above ground level, I would say, right? It's in the air that mirroring is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if light's bending away, you can't see it. How do you know it's there?
Yeah.
The only thing you could, I guess, deduce is you see the light before and after.
That's why I was just asking for any other frameworks that can make sense of what's going on other than two air layers of two different, air vapor densities, like Jimbo was trying to say, or temperature, coming together, meeting and making effectively a reflective surface, if you will.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. And even in the beginning, when we saw the door open behind him, we could really see that layer really well from this side.
Right, and I don't have a problem with describing what we're seeing, right? We can describe it as an event, but in terms of breaking down and saying the cold air is on top and the warm air is below, or vice versa, that is, I think, impossible.
Well, I hypothesize that the cold layer is providing the most reflective layer, and try to invert the layers if I could, and see if we have a superior versus an inferior mirage, kind of following where the cold layer is, or appearing at the interface coming toward the cold layer or whatever. I try to, test it like that or whatever.
The air masses have to come to equilibrium. Once the doors are closed, it takes a few minutes, but then the air returns to kind of normal.
Well, we never really have equilibrium within the Earth, right?
No, I know, but in a general sense, with the garage closed and static within its own, heating system, open up the door with those lights and look there. Well, same basic thing happens on Earth too, Yeah. There's water vapor. It changes with temperature. With every degree, the saturation of the water changes. the water can't remain in the air as it reduces temperature. It condenses out. It has to.
It kind of says that it sounds like you're talking about equilibrium, like mixing of the air where there's no firm boundary between one layer and another, and it's just thoroughly mixed without a firm boundary between them or whatever.
Is there a firm boundary? Because that's what creates like storms and tornadoes and hurricanes, right? Is the cold air smacking into the hot air, which is always going on as the sun goes around and the cold air comes down from the Arctic or up from Antarctic. It's always kind of in these cycles, right? Of hot smashing into cold following the sun.
Yeah. And where the difference is more pronounced, you have the most effects. But if it's a slight difference, like we were saying 72 to 75, it probably wouldn't make much of a difference. But if it's like, I don't know, 70 to 60 or 70 to 50, you might have some storm conditions. I don't know.
Well, and they even call it high pressure and low pressure systems when they talk about the weather.
Well, it's sort of like why you see steam if you live in northern places. When you open the bathroom door after the shower and the hallway is cooler, you see a little bit of a cloud tornado form. That difference causes aberration, or what, you know, that wake turbulence in the air. When it comes to light going through it, it's going to be fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay. Well, let's see what we've got a couple other people who have joined us. We have Chad who's dropped in. What's up, Chad?
Hey, what's happening?
What's up, man? What do you think about this? What does this mean to you, this imagery? I know what you're wondering. You're wondering how much those lights would weigh on the moon, right?
Yeah. No, man, sorry. I was cutting stuff up, putting on the stove and the oven, but I was listening, though.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem.
So I didn't see anything. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Just thought I'd see what you thought. Brian's Logic, I think you were trying to pipe up a little bit earlier. You got any thoughts on this? You must just be listening. Gary Wybenga's in the house. Oh, there's Brian.
Only got to see. Sorry, I'm seeing now.
Okay.
I only got to see a part of that video. 1 second.
Sure. Just come back on when you're ready. What about you, Gary? You there?
Yeah, I wanted to get on earlier with critical think.
I figured that might draw you out. Yeah.
Yeah, that sunset. If he measured that bit of sun that was above, how many miles would that be of sun?
If he measured that sun that it was above.
No, you could see most of the sun was gone, right? And you could see a portion of the sun, and it looked like it was below the crosshairs, and then there were trees there that you could see silhouetted against the sun. But if you took an angular measurement of the sun that was visible, how many miles of sun would that be?
I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah. Because I mean, he's claiming whatever that is, and it has to be a lot. He's claiming that's below eye level.
Well, he thinks the sun is out in space 93 million miles away.
I know that. But it's like he's got a video of a ship that he's showing eye level, and then he zoomed in and he shows where his elevation level was compared to that ship, right? And then he unzooms, he backs off the zoom, and it goes down to the point where that little point on the ship was really undiscernible from the horizon line, which is what I think he's making a mistake at. You know, it's like with the crosshairs on the thing, that's a zoomed in type image, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's looking at, if you zoom in on something, you'll see the space start to widen underneath whatever you're looking at, right? And so he's fooling everybody with the zoom part of that, with the crosshairs, because in reality, if it didn't have a zoom on it and he looks at the crosshairs, it would be right at the horizon line. And he wouldn't be able to discern if there was the sun going below your eye level or not. But when you zoom in, you create a gap, right? Like when you zoom in, everything expands out from the center, right? In all directions. And then when you back off the zoom, everything contracts back towards that center.
Yeah, I see what
right?
you're saying.
So
yeah.
that center is where the eye level is. If you zoom in, that area expands. That's why if there's clouds going towards the horizon, the space underneath them will expand. And you were kind of saying something about that space under the clouds earlier. And everything changes when you look through zooms, and that's why I keep saying on Jose's channel, the zoom is a pseudo perspective. It's not how you see.
That's true.
And then they'll say, "Oh, but you can see this if you zoom in." But then, well, what if that object keeps moving? It's like that. Well, then it'll go out of the boundaries of that zoom. It's like, then what about if I get a telescope? Well, then it'll still have another limit. It's all by the angle. Each optic has its own limit, and the horizon, the true horizon eye level. What was his elevation where he was taking a picture from?
I can't remember. He was higher up, though, I believe.
It was what?
Yeah, he was higher up. I can't remember the exact figure, though.
Yeah, well, whatever that elevation level that he was standing on, if you project that out towards the distance, it's little, right? Let's say he was 80 feet high, but what's 80 feet high look like in the far distance?
That's what I kept trying to bring up, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's right on the horizon.
Yeah, he thinks that if you had a physical line that you could shoot out through that center point of his image, the crosshair, that physical line, you wouldn't see it, basically, because it would go straight out and land where that sun is. I keep saying, no, it doesn't matter if you're level with it. Everything goes down towards the vanishing point on the horizon. It would go down to a similar height wherever you were. You would see that down by the horizon. But see, we have two different conceptions of how perspective works. The effects of
disregard it.
Yeah, the effects of lowering that we say are due to perspective, they attribute them to Earth curve. So it's always going to be screwed up, and because we're coming from two completely different mindsets.
I just know if he was at 80 feet at that far distance is so compressed that it's virtually indistinguishable.
No, it's tiny. Tiny. He's 36 kilometers away.
What Gary is saying is total sense. That's why I joined as well. I just was listening to it just as I was coming in home from shopping, and I heard the nonsense that was being claimed by Ruhif and Critical Think that nothing can appear to be below your eye level on a flat plane. It's a load of rubbish. I came in to show a demonstration that I showed before only a while ago on the show here, and I've showed it many times on Nathan's and other places. And I think Flatside joined as well for a similar reason, because he has similar demonstrations.
Yeah,
what Gary is saying is correct. If you 80 foot in the distance is nothing. If you're looking at a much bigger expanse, do you know, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. You said you have that demonstration ready, Brian. You want to share it, or?
Yeah, well, yeah. I shared it. Yeah, it doesn't matter now. I was trying to get it before Critical Thinking. Well, the two of them are here arguing. I was trying to get it then, but it just didn't happen.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll share it then now. I'll have to leave myself off mute while I'm doing.
Okay, sounds good. It's fine.
This a show channel or Ranty's Brandon show? Which one should I share?
Show channel. Oh, show channel.
Right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always make that mistake. You should see my cursor now. You seen that?
Let me see here. Oh, I think I just watched my own. Oh, you've got Discord up right now. But yep, I see your screen.
Yeah, I just went. So let's see now. Right, I have the sound off and all that. I'll put it on full screen. This is the demonstration I showed before. This black line here that's above the crosshairs here, this is higher than the crosshairs. I have it right up against this, right up close to the, not right against, but very up close to the lens. This is higher than the center of the crosshairs here.
I'm not sure. I don't see any crosshairs. Sorry, Brian. I see like a weird picture. Like
you seen the
layers
phone?
coming together.
Are you seeing the phone?
I don't think so. I just see...
all I have is the buffering symbol for Discord. It's like it's trying to load.
That's what it is. You want me to?
Got the spinning wheel of death.
Am I still sharing? No. I was thinking maybe we're taking up bandwidth, but maybe just share that one window, Brian. Try that.
I just can't get rid of the other one. Are you talking about just share just this one? This is. I don't know what you mean. Sorry.
Or how about stop sharing and then try it again?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that might work.
Wait, stop sharing. A second now. Stop stream. Let's try it again now.
Okay.
Show channel. Go live. A second now.
All right. Let's see. I'm seeing the,
you should be able
the
to see.
dancing squares right now, but I'll tell you when it comes up.
Okay.
Oh, dang. Nothing's coming up. Just dancing squares. Does anybody have anything different?
No.
Sure. If it's not happening, it's not happening. Don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world anyway. It would have been better earlier, because it would have just completely disproved our claims. You know? But it doesn't really matter anyway.
Well, talk us through it. What was in the demonstration? Just give us a overview of it, I guess.
Yeah, just going to stop the stream. But basically, what it was is that I have my phone that is completely flat and level, horizontal on the bottom of it. I have an app on the phone, and on this app there is a function, different functions for different things. But I'm using a plumb bob function, which means that by using this plumb bob function, I am making an absolute parallel with the surface I'm on. So if my surface that I'm on has an incline or a decline to it, my phone will be making, the center of my lens will be making an absolute parallel with that. So what I'm doing is that I'm showing that over a parallel, because if you're using a canal or something like that, you're using basically two horizontals. Let's say your telescope or your camera and the water are going to be making you're making a parallel with the water, right? Because we know water is, horizontal, flat. We know this, right? So if you make a parallel with your surface, what happens is that when angular size change takes hold, when objects are moved away from you, what happens is that they will appear to go below the center lens or basic eye level, which is exactly what critical think has in these, or kind of a demonstration of it in these photographs. But a lot of people have done it. George Netchuk has shown the same thing. Jesse Kozlowski has shown it several times, and they all claim an error curve has nothing to do with error curve. It's only an effect of the angular size change taking hold while you're making a parallel with your surface, and that's all it is. So what happens is that the object or whatever marker you have will appear to have dropped below center frame or eye level. Then, just like Gary was saying earlier, if all this happened is that in the distance it will have compressed. So it will appear to the person looking that what's after happening is something has gone down below the center of the frame of their lens, and that it's gone. Let's say they are claiming gone over a curve, but that's not what's after happening. If you drew a straight line from the center of your lens to the exact same height above the water or surface, let's just say, at the thing you're looking at, you will notice it won't be. It will appear that there is an angled down line from your position. And I show this with a laser in the video. I show a laser where I don't have just markers. I have a laser, and the laser appears to make an angle down the way. And that's all the sun is doing. As the sun moves away from us, it appears to make an angle down the way. And that's all that happens. Whereas if it's coming towards us at sunrise, it's appearing to make an angle up the way. And when it's leaving us, it's appearing to make an angle down the way. That's all that's happening. Basically, if we didn't have all the atmosphere to look through, and we just had this sun, that's what we would see. And the atmosphere gets in the way and makes it hard to see at a distance and stuff. But it doesn't matter. The same exact thing is happening. And so what they're claiming to be our curve all the time is only a perspective effect due to you making a parallel with your surface and the angular size change taking place. That's all that's happening there. Exactly. But they keep on using this as some kind of error curve proof. And I've detailed it many times. I actually started detailing it back in 2016, arguing with Jesse Kozlowski in 2016. and Flat Side has been detailing it in the past year as well, and maybe I think some other people. But it's like there's no way around it. I show my phone how I use the app, and I show it does from forward and back tilt, that it's exactly the same. It's totally making a parallel with its surface. There's no way around it.
How does your phone know what surface it's on?
Because how does my phone? What do you mean by that, Howard?
You're saying that it establishes a parallel through the length of a table or whatever. But so I mean, how does your phone know that table is level?
But it's not about level. You see, it doesn't matter if the table is on a decline or an incline. What the point of it is that because I'm using a bombard app, a bombard function on an app, what happens is that my phone, because I'm using an iPhone with a flat bottom on it, I can stand that phone on that surface, and I can show, even after calibration, I can show that if I tilt it forward or back, it'll be 0 when it's left stationary on that surface. So it doesn't matter if that surface is declining or inclining. It doesn't have to be level. All I have to do is be making a parallel with that surface. And then angular size change, when I move things away from it, what will happen is it will appear that things have dropped below center frame when they actually happen. It's just a pure perspective effect.
So it's got a crosshair in the middle of the screen?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay, so is that set by the accelerometer in the phone?
Well, yeah, the accelerometer would be definitely involved in it.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had.
How come you're asking about accelerometer?
Programmed with Earth spin in them?
How come you're asking about the accelerometer, Howard?
We got to get my question out.
How come you're asking about the accelerometer?
Well, I just wonder how the phone would know that it's a parallel to the surface that it's on when it when
I
it's.
think there's a gyroscope. There's a gyro in the phones too, I think, as far as I know. I think I could be wrong. I remember reading before that some phones, or maybe some of the newer ones have a gyro. But I'm pretty sure there's a gyro in the phones as well, as part of the whole accelerometer bit. See, but the whole point of it is it doesn't matter once you make a parallel with your surface. It doesn't matter if the surface is declining or inclining. The same effect will happen. You know, it doesn't matter. But so that's why I didn't just level the phone with a clinometer. Because what can happen if my surface is declining or inclining, and I level the phone with a clinometer, what will happen is either my lens could be pointing up in the air or down towards the surface. So what happens is that then it won't work because my phone is level, but the surface could be inclining or declining. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I needed to make an absolute parallel. Because if you're using a canal, you're making a parallel with the surface of the canal, surface of the water, with your lens, and that's why this actually, you know who Simon Rowbotham is, yes? This is how he won the Bedford Levels test. This is how he won that. This is how he got awarded the win in that, because he proved that it was due to angular size change taking place, and that what was happening is that he was making a parallel with the surface of the water. And he proved this because he said what he was going to do. He said to the judge, he says, because what was happening is he's looking through his telescope and it seemed that the markers in the distance appeared to be dropping below the center of his crosshairs. And his opponent was claiming that it was our curve. And he said, no, right? He said, if this is our curve, he said, what I'm going to do, he said, he's going to lift his telescope and tilt it so the crosshairs appear to be in line with the first two markers. And he said if the rest of the markers fall away after that, which they should do mathematically, if it's a globe, according to the maths of the globe, he said they should fall away. If they don't, if the whole lot lines up, then it's obvious that it's actually just a perspective effect, and it is angular size change, and he proved it with that. So that's how he actually won that. That's how he won that bet.
Interesting. So yeah, it's these perspective hijacking that we always talk about, and it happens away from the viewer in predictable angular size changes at predictable rate, and it's just so happens that predictable rate will translate into the exact curve of the Earth. It's amazing. What a coincidence, huh?
Yeah, Yeah, it's funny the way perspective and our curve always match each other exactly.
Exactly. And then they'll set you up with something, some diagram like I'm sure you've seen these before. This diagram, you ever seen this? It usually comes in this form and say, no, Polaris can't be on a flat Earth because the angle would never get low enough. It wouldn't drop by 10%. Well, this is based on that orthographic, no angular size change trigonometry that Ruhif was talking about. He said, do I have to teach you to do trigonometry? Well, you're not taking perspective in account. There's no angular size change in this diagram. All you're doing is changing the viewer angle. You're not changing the size of the object. When you start changing the size of the object, then things start to make sense again. And you start to get a curve that matches something like this. And depending on the height, that's how linear this regression will be. Regression, I don't know if that's the right word, but how linear this descent as things move away from you, here's a better one, is depending on the height of the object above you and the distance away from you that it takes to get into the vanishing point. But it is predictable, and that's why we see things go down as they go away from us at a predictable rate, because of perspective angular size change, not Earth curve. Now you take this and you wrap it around a ball and say that instead of perspective, it's Earth curve, and voila, you get a globe, and you think you're on a spinning ball in space, traveling through endless nothingness for no reason.
Well, you're going to have two vanishing points effectively, the vanishing point of the space above the flat surface and the vanishing point along the surface. And technically, they would remain separated. You know, even though things do tend to approach the level of the eyes, like in art class, it isn't quite that perfect art class perspective where everything converges at their point. They're still kind of separated. And so if an object's sticking up out of that surface, it's going to converge basically on the surface eventually and kind of away from the level of the eyes anyway, technically.
Yep. And then they violate the fact that parallel lines seem to converge due to perspective in the distance. When you're talking about something from Polaris, say these black lines on this diagram on my screen, you might not be able to see it in Discord, but all the sight lines from each, say, 10-degree latitude from 0 to 90, you're looking in the exact same physical direction. All those sight lines are parallel to each other, yet you're seeing the same object. How they get away from that is saying that Polaris is trillions of miles away or however many light years away. It's so far away that parallel sight lines from the Earth all point to it. It doesn't matter. So perspective is taken out of the equation like that. And that's how they transition it to, no, it's the shape of the ground that is curved.
But its distance from you makes no difference to how you see it. I mean, the claim of the sun being 93 million miles away by them makes no difference to how we see the sun. The same with Polaris. That makes no sense. That's not any kind of an argument.
Well, it's hard to believe that the Earth moving 1,000 miles at the equator is enough to have these stars revolving overhead very dramatically. But that doesn't translate into the even greater 66,000 mile per hour distance around the sun, which should just make the stars whir at 66 times the speed in the opposite direction. That's hard to believe that 1,000 mile an hour rotation is sufficient to make the stars, dramatically appear to curve. But 66,000 miles per hour around the sun is insufficient to do anything motion-wise. Not to mention the problem of looking out a train and seeing one motion opposite to the train's motion, not seeing bowing up and bowing down in the same sky at the same time around the equator or whatever, or as far north as Colorado, like Chris Van Matra did with his photos. That is a solid thing or something due to perspective is
Well,
making this.
Yeah, but Lemon, we never see. I mean, the Globers want to make you believe that you're seeing a spherical sky. We don't see a spherical sky. We see on the horizon, and we see stars and the sun and stuff coming from that location, arriving above us and going down away from us again. That's like a direct line up and a direct line down. There's no like the whole sky being spherical thing. That's only what they did is they hijacked the latitude and longitude grid comes from the sky, and all they did is they hijacked the perspective view of the sky and they curved it a bit around the globe. That's all that happened. That's why we have this latitude and longitude grid for the globe only. That's all it is. It's nonsense. We don't see any curved sky. We don't see any curve at all of the sky. Especially if you look at time-lapse photography, there's no curve going on. You know, there's no curve there. We're looking at a 2D image in a lot of ways. You know, there's no curve.
The curve to the sky would explain why we have bowing up and bowing down from one motion of revolution.
Yeah,
with
but
the
we
Earth
don't
turning
have a
underneath.
curve in the sky, though, Lemon. That's the problem. We don't have a curved sky that we can see. We don't see any
But
curved
okay,
sky.
but we do
Don't see
have a
any curve.
curved perspective just as it relates to how our physical reality works. If you take 1 point in front of you and go up and over yourself and then back down to the ground, always keeping, let's say you tie a string and take it out to a certain point and go take that string up and over you and down to the ground and always keep the string at exactly the same length, it will make a dome, okay? And
Yeah,
whatever that limit is for our eyes,
you're
automatically
making that with your
make a
hand.
dome if we go from the ground up and then back down again on the other side.
Yeah,
It automatically
you're
makes
making that. You're making that yourself. You don't see this. You're just making that yourself.
Right. It's not a physical dome or anything. All I'm saying is that's how our vision works, or that's how our perspective is in reality. That's the only perspective we have, is however far we can see, that's the limit.
Well, I put a challenge to anyone out there to give me a photograph of a curved sky.
Well, the thing is, spin around.
It won't happen unless you have a lens that will curve it.
But you need to have a solidity to the sky, because otherwise, if you spin around, you only see one motion in opposition to your spin. You don't see everything around you bowing up and down when you spin around, making yourself like the Earth in this pained analogy. For there to be bowing up and down at the same time, the sky has to be solid or twisted by magnetic fields and or twisted by perspective. There's no option.
No, you're missing the point. We are led to believe through indoctrination our whole life that we have this curved sky. We don't. Yes. There is no curved sky. We make it into a curve in our minds. It's not curved. If you look out there, it's not curved.
But you can have bowing up and down from one motion. That's the only way. If the sky has some solidity or something's happening,
Watch something, Lemon. Go watch some planes descend away from you. Watch the angle that the sun takes. The only arc I see is left to right. I don't see him making a big circle above us, but maybe,
they're not going in a circular motion. They're going in a linear motion. Try having a plane circle overhead in a great arc and see if it bows up and down like the rainbow, which is a circle that's suspended in midair like a hula hoop, but looks like an arch from close to the ground.
It's not making an arc. There's no making a great arc. There's no arc being made. It's just purely coming towards you, and when it gets to where you are, it appears a lot higher than it did when it was at a distance. And then when it goes away, it appears to be dropping. But it only appears that way. It's not actually doing it. There's no curve happening. I mean, an airplane flies directly horizontal, so that's not making any curve.
I think Lemon's trying to say the x-axis curvature, right? So when someone looks forward, let's say a glober looks forward and says, look, there's curvature on the x-axis, which they rarely ever get, right? But if I were to, turn 90 degrees, that curve should be going below my feet, but it doesn't. So, right, Lemon, you're talking about all these humps that we live on as I spin around.
Well, that and the fact that you can have a rainbow which looks like a hula hoop suspended in the air going left to right in a left to right orientation. But if you're close to the ground, it looks like an arch. That's the sun, moon, and stars circling overhead, but looking like an arch from the ground level. That's it.
But a rainbow is curved. You know what I mean? It does
Just
appear.
like the path of the stars as they
The part of the
Circle
stars
overhead.
aren't curved. The path of the stars aren't curved. I don't see any curve my whole life. I've never seen this. If you can provide a video of this curved sky,
Brendan, can
know
I
what I mean, Lemon?
monologue
You
real
won't be
quick?
able.
Just I'll go back quiet.
Sorry, Aaron, what did you say?
Can I monologue real quick and I'll go back quiet before I forget what I was gonna say?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So we're talking about photos, right? We're talking about photos, and nothing can be proven by a photo. Nothing. And I'll back this claim up by saying that the creator of the photo, called light, can never be judged by the photo. Especially if we look at that photo or that 2D image, like we all do, like we're all talking about now. We're judging 2D images, whether it's digital or paper, whatever photo we have, right? When we look at that photo that was created by the light, we cannot judge the light that created that photo. And we look at it through a lens. And if you look up Old Greek, lens means pulse. That's what it means in Old Greek. It's been translated through lentil and all these other words to give us lens. And pulse, as we know, is correlated to frequency, right? So when I look at a photo or a computer screen at a 2D image of light, trying to dissect what that light is, even though the light created that, right? I lose my frequency. We've all lost it. And we just can't do it. Now, when there's a couple of different things going on here. Lemon's talking about going outside. Brian's logic is talking about looking at these, look at this image. It shows stuff. It shows good stuff. But we only live outside. We don't live on digital images or photos. And outside is where the frequency is, and we need to retain that. So thanks, Brandon.
Can I just add something, Brandon?
Go for it, Paige.
I just put a link in the general to what was it called? 10 crazy 3D optical illusions which will blow your mind. It might be an idea just to bring it up on screen for people to see. There's one that's like a grass ball. It's flat on the ground, but looks like a 3D ball sitting there. And this is what I think they're trying to measure optical illusions, basically.
Yeah, it's mathematical too, in my opinion. They've transferred. There's part of this that is calculated. They are calculating what they're calling drop because they're not taking this angular change size into account.
Yeah.
So they're never actually
absolutely.
measured curvature. They measure to an object and say there's drop, and they calculate curvature. Right? We all know this. It is calculated, and there is a mathematical relationship between perspective and how they're calculating this curvature. But the way it actually appears, I think, is another story, which is what we're talking about here, what we've started to talk about with Lemon and Aaron. And I agree, there's definitely more to explore there. I would like someone to take up that challenge of show us some videos of the curving, the paths of the stars, the paths of the sun. Now, we may not be able to see it like we can with our eyes or as it is in reality, but it would be interesting to analyze it.
Well, see the star trails, which look like circles. I think that's the curving that we see in the stars, the circular path of the stars when you look at like polar star trails or whatever.
Yeah,
like
I
a
almost
planetarium.
think I get what you're saying, because I think it's kind of like a cone. Like this shows a 2D. If you can see this visual based perspective diagram I have here, it shows a 2D triangle, but in reality, this, how far we could see if something was as high as B here would be in 360. So if something comes across our vision, if it's not perfectly straight overhead or perfectly left to right, if there's kind of an arc above us or it circles above us, it's gonna look different. Everything above us doesn't always have to look straight just because of perspective. This is just a 2D version, so it's more like a cone above us, like a cone of perspective, right?
That's why
It's a very good start.
The rainbow.
That's a very good
because
start.
the rainbow.
We but we don't always have to refer to this because we go out and look at shit all day long, and we judge just by reality, right? You know, and,
Well,
and
the
if we're trying to
rainbow
argue
looks.
with ballers with Brandon's presentation here, yes, I mean that's a great basic presentation of how we see stuff, but it's not real.
Oh yeah. No, this is just to try to communicate concepts to each other and whoever else we're talking to. Yeah.
The thing is, with the rainbow hula hoop that is like a hula hoop band suspended above the ground, it looks like an arch from below. So it's not too much of a jump to say the same mechanism of circular, stars that are circling over the land would look like an arch from down on the ground, by that principle.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I started thinking about that too. I might have a couple of diagrams in here, kind of like this is kind of what you're talking about here. Like if we had the sun or a star coming across our field of view, and you can see on the right, I mapped it to a flat plane, right? So it goes along the equator, and we see it at the points where the white lines are pointing to. Do you see that, Lemon? And in our vision, it's kind of going to come up from, a horizon over here on our left and kind of circle in front of us and make an arc back to the horizon on our right somewhere. It will look like it's arc even though it's moving in a circle. Not the best diagram in the world, but that's kind of what I was trying to get thinking about.
Can you draw that in 3D reality for me?
It'll basically be the curvature of the dome of sky as opposed to the curvature of the land. It's looking at it from a different perspective with flat land under some sort of curved, domey thing where things are circling overhead.
Yeah. Our words and understanding are pretty inadequate at this point to communicate what we mean to each other, but I think we're on the same point. But I do see things moving in straight lines too. These jets are going in a straight line, and I see them. They don't appear to arc down towards the horizon. They go straight down into the horizon. The jet trails.
That's because their path is straight. The star trails are curving, so there would be a curvation to their path, but not to the straight path. It would only look straight overhead if it was a great arc that overlaps with, a similar, straight line. Like if the arc is so big and going for like 10,000 miles, a small section of it.
The stars aren't curving, Lemon.
You mean the great circle, Lemon, right? Like
not curving.
The great circle, apparently.
Wait, I think Brian and Lemon seem to be talking about two different things. Brian, do you not think that the stars are making a rotation around Polaris, or?
Yeah, but they're making a rotation, but they're not curving. They're not making a curved path. They're just making a circular path. There's no curved sky. When you're outside on a starry night, you look up, there's no curved sky. Sky is not curved. Like we don't know what we're looking into, but if you use time lapse, you will see the stars rotating around, but you won't see them curving. See, we're told that the stars are curving around a sphere, but they're not. They're making a rotation. There's 2 points of rotation. That's all we know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing to show a curve, is my point. It's just Lemon is saying that taking a curved path. I think what Lemon's talking about is the fact that they're taking a circular path around Polaris and around Sigma Octantis. But that's what we see. We see a circular path. We don't see a curve.
Okay,
that's
I think
point.
you
There's
guys
no
are talking
curve.
past each other, but saying the same thing essentially. Maybe I'm wrong, Lemon.
Circular path,
yeah. Brandon, you're right. They're both great points, but they are on just two different levels of the same point, I think.
Yeah.
It's a circular path. Yeah, it's a circular path that we're seeing overhead. We're seeing a clipped section of that circular path, and if it's a great enough circular path, it will appear to be fooled with a straight line, like at the equator, where it appears to pass directly overhead in a line, but really it's a small section of a curve, if you will.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
the best example is, sorry, Brandon, you were going to say something there, sorry.
No. I was just going to pick something up. Go ahead before we move on.
Yeah, just like the best example is that if you're out at sea and you see an airplane coming towards you, airplanes fly with the nose 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal at all times. So airplanes are always flying horizontal. So if you're seeing an airplane coming over the top of you, unless it's coming into land or it's taking off, then what you're seeing when the airplane is coming towards you is the airplane appears to rise up above your head and then go back down towards the opposite horizon. If you're on a boat looking at a plane coming from an horizon going to an horizon, that's all you're seeing. And the same thing is happening with stars. There's no proof of anything else happening. And the same with the sun. You know, there's no proof of anything else happening. It's just assertions made based on a belief, a model of belief. That's all.
Oh yeah, I think we're on the same page there for sure. Okay. We've got about 10 minutes left. Anything anybody wanted to bring up before we wrap it to a close? Any subject around this or anything else we've talked about tonight?
One more thing about the stars.
Must be Brian.
No, about what Brian said, because I think that is a way, if you understand what Brian's saying and that the stars further are just lower and it's all perspective. I think that's how we could end up mapping what the Earth is actually eventually, because you can know if you realize they're just low on the horizon because they're further away. You can kind of get an idea where they're at if you just had some kind of an app or something that told you where Orion's belt was over right at the time or whatever. You know, I'm just picking.
We've already mapped the Earth, right?
Saying you'd be able to know if you took the perspective into account of how the stars are. You would be able to say, let's say if you had an app that told you Orion's belt is right over this country, right overhead right now, you would be able to point that direction and say that is where that country is. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because I can do it. I sit in the backyard all the time and it's a star.
Oh, you're breaking
watch certain constellations. It's obviously they're circling, but then there's certain stars on the Big Dipper. If you just line those stars up, even if you can't see Orion's belt, you can they point the direction where Orion's belt will be. And if you take in perspective, you could say that's where, if it's overhead in this country right now, that this app says, then that country is that direction.
Gary, Gary, how do you think they mapped the world, the flat Earth? How do you think they did that?
I don't care how they did it. I'm talking about how I think it could be done and
Well,
get it right.
but no, I mean back before globular bullshit, right? Of course, they used the stars like you're talking about, right? All navigation pre 250 years ago was all by the stars on a flat Earth.
Well, just to add to that, which will support both what Gary is saying as well. What both of you are saying is that the sextant doesn't work on a globe. A sextant only is designed for a flat Earth. So this is like at one time, the sextant used to be a claim of the globe by the globers of some kind of a globe tool. It doesn't. It's impossible. It doesn't work on a globe. It works on flat only. If you're on a boat and you're taking an angle to a star, you have to then take the height that you are off of the water away from your final calculation, and because the water is zero, so you have to then use the water as a horizontal and the angle then to the star. So you need two straight lines. So when they were using sextants, they had to at least be pre-assuming they were to be flat, because they could not use globe for that to work.
Yeah, I even bought a sextant when I was researching this stuff. And it's interesting because I was looking at Polaris and I was like, okay, how does Polaris work with perspective? And below 15%, you can't even really use a sextant. You can't rely on the position of Polaris. And then above 80%, I couldn't find reliable observations for where Polaris is in the sky. I don't know if anybody has them, like Polaris from 85 degrees, an actual reading on its altitude and stuff. But it matches pretty damn good when you put it in perspective. The Polaris angles, they match up really good. So it's just how you look at it. You can see this diagram on my screen right now. 20 degrees to 70 degrees is a dead-on match. 10 degrees per same distance. These red lines are all the same distance in the center here. And 10 and 80 degrees are only slightly off. You can see the yellow line is a little off the dot, and so is the 10 degree. which is below the 15 degrees, and 80 is so close, it might as well be 80. So, you know, this maps out. So don't let anybody tell you that Polaris falsifies the flat earth. That's bullshit. It all comes back to this idea of perspective versus curvature. Well, anyway. Well, that was good stuff.
Exactly.
I appreciate you stopping in, Brian. Thank you. And Gary.
No, thanks for having me in. I come in more often, except for I'm always on the Nathan show and QE show, and it gets to late at night, and I've been on flat earth stuff all day, so I end up just listening.
Yeah, you got to give yourself a break. You know, sometimes after the show, I'll just lay and watch like the dumbest, most mindless thing I can, just to give my brain a rest through the day.
You mean like mainstream media?
That's exactly what I do.
Just watch the news.
Nah, I play video games.
Yeah.
Me too, Brandon. Me too.
But anyway, that's cool. And yeah, we had a good panel tonight. Appreciate that. Pete the Great. Shout out to Pete the Great. Excellent observations. Thank you. You've repeated it. Your experiment's repeatable. If you want to call it an experiment, your observation. We'll call it an experiment. It was set up with care. And it's definitely repeatable. I think anybody could do that. Reproduce that experiment. So the atmosphere we have established can completely conceal a light source. So that's just one step towards the line. As Travis said, you can't apply that one for one to the real world. We have a lot of variables that are unknown or that we're not aware of that could impact that, especially with hot, cold cycles. But it makes sense to me. It makes the hypothesis more plausible, especially when you factor in this perspective stuff. And then Critical Think, thanks for coming in, Critical Think, and rebutting some of the arguments that we had last time. I noticed you didn't provide a constructive criticism of my Euclidean versus perspective geometry. You made fun of me for using big words and said that big words don't matter, but your rebuttal was wanting. But I think I understand the core difference between the way you think and the way I think, and where the difference lies. We can explore that more, so feel free to come in. Thanks, Ruhif. Thanks for the entire panel. Those are my final thoughts. We'll go down the list and just start off with and support Ranty's if you can. If you got extra change lying around, I think he's put the link in the thing a couple times and it's pinned at the top, so you can help him out. We'll start off with Brian Mabbott. Final thoughts, Brian.
Yeah, great show, mate. Great show. I'm just hoping at some point this is all going to come to a point ahead, you know, and we can move on.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, thanks, man. I have a feeling that's going to take a while. Brian's logic.
Hey, thanks for having me in, Brandon. I'll try and join more often. Yeah, I got in a bit late. I was trying to get in early enough to pin Ruhif and Critical Think, but maybe another night. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, man. Travis.
Yeah, how's my sound?
A little rough, but we can hear you.
Okay, so I put out a video earlier today about on the length.
Oh, now you're cutting out, man. Sorry.
Crack a smurf.
You sounded good near the end. We'll come back to you and try again. Effie. F Evangelist. Gary Wybenga.
I want to point out one more thing. Like if you take a picture on
You're a little low, Gary. Sorry. Shoot, you're cut out completely now. Global virus foe. We'll come back, Gary.
Great show as always, and keep up the good work, guys.
Thanks, man. Rockwell. Jeremy.
I just want to say you guys are pussies. I wake up to flat Earth and go to sleep to flat Earth all day nonstop. Let's do this shit. That's all.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Jimbo. He's on mute. Left lane. Howard.
I'm busy.
Mailman. Patient 0. Oh, there's Mailman.
Yeah, I just tuned in. So.
All right, no problem. Aaron?
I'll say it again. A photo cannot prove anything. Especially taking a photo of light. Let's say the sun, not your family per se, but a photo cannot prove anything if you're taking it of the actual light that's causing the photo itself. Right? The creator cannot ever be judged by the created. Especially when me and you look at that fucking photo through a lens, which is another fucking optic again, and we can't. There is no judgment on that. So, as much as I admire all these photos of sunsets and sunrises and stuff, I mean, it's you can't do it. And not to discount Ranty or Travis or all the others, Montreal, everybody else taking photos of like bridges or very far away out things. That's different. That's not light. That's reflected light. That's a little bit different. So, but we have to keep in mind whenever you take a picture of the sun itself or the light itself, it cannot be judged. Thanks, Brandon and Ranty. Hang in there. Cheers, brother. We're all with you.
Thanks, Aaron. Paige. Lemon. Rob.
How's my volume?
Good.
All right. I just want to address a couple things. I don't normally say much, but I challenge that guy that calls him thick. Bait me this Sunday. Did you guys all hear how fast? Fine. Just that's a rhetorical question. I want you to make note of that because you never hear me debating anybody. I've tried to set up 2 debates the last 2 Sundays to debate any of these globers that are all full of shit. And they have declined me both times. So I am looking for a glober to debate on any aspect of flat Earth.
I'll get you a glober.
Yeah,
I'll
get in contact with you, Rob. 6 days a week. I figure I'm going to start taking a Sunday to actually take on some of these tactics that they like to employ against us and deflect from any real progress. So I'm technically in the debating scene a new guy. I've been in flat Earth 5 years. I will debate anybody on any aspect of flat Earth.
Challenges out there. Awesome. Thanks, Rob.
Your time, Rob, would be better spent doing what you love versus fighting these fucking trolls.
Oh man, I play with cars all week, 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. I play with cars. That's what I love to do. And I listen to the argument both sides for the last 5 years.
I get you because I did the same thing as you, right? Just work all week and
chomping at the freaking bit.
All right.
I almost thought about going to 24/7, but that just like a shit show. I love this place.
Thanks, Rob. Bob Dole. No? All right. We'll come back up to Travis.
All right. How am I now?
Good now.
All right. I'm just going to be brief. So I made a video addressing the photographs yesterday and the focal length. A couple other things came to my mind today, so I'm going to reload that with a little bit more information. So just keep your eye out for that. Thanks.
Okay. We could talk about that tomorrow too or something if you want to. Gary Wybinga.
Degrees of sky directly above you.
What about the sky? Sorry.
Degrees sky straight above you. If you took 10 degrees of sky, you would hardly see a cloud. You couldn't hardly fit a cloud in that 10 degrees. But at the horizon, you're fitting in miles and miles and miles and miles of clouds because the angle is more narrow. That's why the EQ mount can't track the sun accurately when it sets. because it hangs up, because that angle is so narrow. It keeps moving within that little angle further and further away, and so it hangs up, and their EQ mount wants to point down. So I think we can figure all that kind of stuff into all this stuff we see at the.
Absolutely. Did you catch my debate with Mr. Sensible? Because I brought that up during that.
Distance, exactly.
I want to check that out. I hear you. Good point. All right, guys, I'll be back. I will record the overtime. Give me 5 minutes. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate that. That was pretty good. We covered a lot of ground tonight. So I appreciate that. And thanks for coming in. Looks like there was a lot of discussion in chat. We'll see you tomorrow night. I don't know what else is going on this week. Hopefully we'll have some guests coming in. I think I've got Jem coming in sometime this week. I need to get with him and set up a date. And we'll see what else happens. But appreciate it. Shout out to Pete the Great again for his observations. Awesome job, dude. And same to Critical Think for stopping in. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.